Feel free to hop back inside of that queue. Feel free to. I'm sorry for jumping to a very brash judgment there. But let's go ahead and get that next guest loaded up into the box. Just so far, the queue's been full of kids, man. What are we doing? Come on. All right, here we go. We got Eddie joining right now. Let me know down below in that chat if you happen to be a Trump supporter. All right, guys. You know, this is why I was really honing in hard on asking you guys not to troll. Because I think it's going to be so very difficult to find Trump supporters today. So very difficult to find Trump supporters today. Hi, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Hey, Danny. Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Actively. Today, you support Trump.
Yes.
Okay, I remember you. I'm going to start my live
Yes.
stream on YouTube. Can you hang out with me for a moment?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
All right, let's go ahead and start that stream right now. Everybody, assume your positions. Hello and welcome in. This is the 383rd episode of the Dean Withers Show. For everybody who is joining us, I appreciate you for being here. Folks, we have so much to go over today. I mean, wow, what a crazy 24 hours it's been. But if you've never been here before, let me tell you what we do. We talk to Trump supporters. We change their minds because Trump sucks. He's the worst president of your life, regardless if you're 1880 or 8. I mean, he's truly the worst president of your life. Now, we also like to go over the breaking news. I like to keep you guys up to date because that's very important to being politically informed, of course, as knowing what's going on in D.C. And folks, oh boy, do we have a lot to go over. Yesterday, Donald Trump claimed to be God. He posted an AI-generated photo depicting himself literally as Jesus Christ. In fact, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that post now. I'm sure that many of you guys have already seen it because, oh boy, has it been making its round on social media. So what we immediately see in this post would be the depiction of him as Christ due to him wearing the white garment with the red robe thrown over his body. Now, this outfit is a very common depiction of modern-day Jesus Christ in art, in costume, in movies, in TV. Now, on top of just wearing the modern-day garments that are depicted to be worn by Jesus Christ, we also see that he is healing a sick man with a touch of his hand. And, of course, with the touch of his hand comes glowing divine orbs of light being emitted from both of his hands, with the glowing divine orb of light being transferred from his right hand to the sick man. Now, above Donald, we could see what I guess were intended to be angels coming down from the heaven to watch Jesus or Trump as he heals the sick. But when we actually take a closer look at those quote-unquote angels, I think what I see here is maybe a depiction closer to that of a demon. So that's a very interesting look. Now, of course, this is textbook blasphemy, everybody. Mocking the image of God or claiming to be divine in of yourself is blasphemy by definition. Sorry, this is sacrilegious to the highest extent. In response, we have seen a whirlwind of people from every corner of the earth crucifying, quote unquote, funny use of the term here, Donald Trump for his blasphemy, which includes many people on the right. In fact, looking at the responses to that post on Truth Social, many of his own followers were calling him the Antichrist, because if you've ever read or are familiar with the book of Revelation, well, it starts with a false prophet claiming divinity with followers in all corners of the earth. So it's getting biblical. Now, in response to all of this, of course, Donald Trump deleted the post, and when asked about it by reporters, he said that it was merely a depiction of him as a doctor because he's saving the lives of innocent people and saving the world. Either he's stupid or he thinks we're stupid. Okay? That's not a doctor. That's, goddamn it, that's Jesus Christ. All right? So that would be the he's stupid part. Now, what about the or he thinks we're stupid part? is the fact that he thinks we would ever believe such a vile, sick narrative that this man who has angels literally watching over him from the heavens, healing the sick with a touch of the hand, with divine glowing orbs of heavenly light, wearing the garments of Jesus Christ, is a doctor. And if he is telling the truth here, and he's being honest, he genuinely thought that was him being a doctor, well, this makes us question his mental fitness to serve. Okay, this man is sick, literally. In the last 2 weeks, he's praised Allah, threatened to genocide 90 million people, attacked the Pope, called him weak because he doesn't like Trump. That's what Trump said. No, literally. And then he's now turning around and depicting himself as Jesus Christ unknowingly because he thought it was a doctor. Okay, but personally, I think he's lying, all right, because he posted this image depicting him as Jesus Christ moments after posting a very long rant about how much the Pope sucks. So clearly these two things have a connection to one another. And on top of that, you don't have to be smart to know that this is a depiction of Christ. You don't have to be smart at all. I mean, if you grew up in a Christian household, if you went to church as a kid, if you still go to church today, then you are more than familiar with the depiction of Jesus as wearing white garments with a red robe over the shoulders. So, I mean, no question about it, no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, that's kind of the breaking news that we have for today. I mean, what a mess. Last night, when this news broke, we were actually able to change the minds of a couple Trump supporters. And we're going to see if we could do that right now. Beyond the Media, I appreciate you for the galaxy. We already have the very first Trump supporter of the day loaded up and connected to the stream on TikTok. One thing I will actually ask everybody for who's watching on TikTok, first and foremost, welcome into all the Parker Raiders, is if that you are a Trump supporter, to please join our queue. I would really appreciate it. We are looking to talk to Trump supporters and Trump supporters only. We have a league of moderators who will be scanning the queue and banning everybody who is not MAGA, not from America, and under the age of 18. So if that's you, feel free to watch the stream, but please don't join the guest request. And with that, we'd like to introduce the first Trump supporter of the day, Right Wing Zoomer. Welcome in.
Hello, thank you. Anxiety is much better today. I heard you say that you were waiting for a certain Christian to come up to give their thoughts and opinions on this. Is it okay if I give mine?
Yes, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on your favorite president, Donald Trump, who you said you support, depicting himself as God.
So let me give this backstory real quick because I seen a post and then I'm going to go into my thoughts and feelings as well as the post. I'm not saying that I agree with what I'm about to say, but there was a post that I seen, a screenshot from about a month ago where another person, I believe a pastor, had made the picture and they were comparing how God is using Trump, etc., and that's believed to be where he got the photo from. Regardless, it's still an insinuation of basically him being led by God, but in the photo, it's not Jesus standing next to Trump. It's Trump as Jesus Christ, which I find extremely offensive. But another reason I do have a problem with it is because, one, Trump knows that there is a stigma with Trump supporters being called a cult and seeing Trump as Jesus Christ himself. So even if he meant it whatever way he did, instead of backing away from that, knowing that this would cause a lot of controversy and more hate towards his movement and followers, he fed into it. So now you actually have Christians, which I experienced today because I spoke out about it. I'm not afraid to say where Trump is wrong. Spoke out about it, and now I'm being called all these names by MAGA, despite being MAGA for X amount of years. So I find that to be interesting because, if anything, it just kind of hurt the movement times a billion, where they now actually will say that he is this cult leader who does think he's Jesus Christ, and the followers are on board with that, which I also really don't like. But again, it's just extremely offensive to my faith.
Here's my first question. Mocking God, blasphemy, is God's red line. In fact, it's God's only red line. We learn in Mark from Jesus himself that blasphemy is the one unforgivable sin. So here's my question. If blasphemy is God's red line, then why is it not yours?
You know, that's a question that I asked myself because, I mean, I'm asking myself, okay, so that's what I was asking is people are going to ask the question, why is this not the line for you? And for me, I don't know. I just had trouble trying to think, okay, well, I think I just need to gather my thoughts on that because is this the red line? Did he make a mistake? Because we are called to forgive. That God did use people who were not perfect for the
Did
better of
he
things, who
ever
still
use a
messed up.
blasphemer?
I'd have to go in and fact check that because I can't give you a definitive answer of
The
yes or
answer
no. I
is
actually don't know
no.
that.
Blasphemy
It's de-
is the eternal separation between the creation and the creator per Christian theology.
Or do you think he's lost and he did something that he shouldn't have done and that he just needs to find God more than anything? I don't know if this is a complete reason to rule him out. I am disgusted
Is
by
the
it, though.
Oval Office really the place for people to find God? No. You know what would be a better place for Donald Trump to quote unquote find God would be an insane asylum, the way that he's been speaking over the course of the last 2 weeks, praising Allah, turning around, threatening to genocide 90 million people, including men, women, and children, turning around, attacking the Pope, calling them weak, saying the only reason why they're there is because of him, turning around, depicting himself as Jesus Christ, turning around, starting a war over a lie, turning around, taking healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans, turning around, threatening to invade our allies, turning around, saying that we have this path of conquest to go on that would include the annexation of Canada, takeover of Greenland, already forceful takeover of Venezuela, with similar threats to Mexico, Cuba, and Colombia. That's not those are not traits that the president should ever hold. Imagine you were a business owner and you were conducting a job interview and you think their resume is kind of impressive. Then they sit down and then they tell you that they have done everything in what Donald Trump has. They say, praise Allah, fuck the Pope, let's kill 90 million people, and oh, by the way, I'm Jesus Christ. You wouldn't give them the job. So why are we giving him the job?
I do think that recently he has messed up a lot. I think, sorry, the bombing of the all-girls school in Iran and then quickly glossing over that to say it was just an accident, that was pretty bad, on top of the threat that he made and on top of now depicting himself as Jesus Christ, is definitely a really, I hope it's okay to curse, a really fucked up thing to do, especially as president of the United States and back to back. So it's definitely given me a lot to think about because it's like, okay, this isn't a funny joke. This isn't just a mishap. These are serious things. I'm just like, okay, should take a step back. I'm not acknowledging that. I am just still conflicted, not in a oh, I could never not support him, just need time to really overthink everything instead of just making
let's
a
think it
rational
through
decision.
together. So what's the confliction? So we just went through all of the data that indicates this is a crazy man who should never step foot in the Oval. Now I want you to tell me the data that indicates this is a sane, rational, great leader who should be our president.
Is it okay if I get my laptop open? Because right off the top of my
open,
head, I
You
can't.
can open a laptop.
Okay.
That's fine. Use whatever means necessary to make an argument. Ma'am, this is an open book test.
Okay, cool. Do you mind if I mute real quick? Do you want to bring someone up while I set it up?
Sure, I could bring somebody up. In fact, I have a couple donors to thank. I'll do that real quick. Thank you so much, Anime, for the $15 over on Super Chat. I appreciate you, Anime. Let's get 150 Anime W's. Anime says, Parker Raid, by the way, I'm Catholic, and it disgusts me that Trump is saying he's Jesus himself, totally deranged. He's completely lost his damn mind. It's unreal, Anime. Thank you for the $15. Then Jazz, thank you for the $5 as well. I appreciate you. Show some love to Jazz. Show some love to Anime. Show some love to the donors. I appreciate you guys so much. Now, while she's opening up this laptop to hopefully give us a cogent, cohesive counter-argument, let's go ahead and thank a couple of people on Venmo. Thank you, Abby. That is API for the $15 donation. He says, I bet you the demon is back and is RFK in a diaper. I appreciate you for the $15, Abby. Thank you so much for that love. Then Victoria, thank you so much for the $50 donation on Venmo. 50 Victoria, that is beyond kind of you. That is so much money. I'm so very grateful. It paid $50 to say MAGA sucks. I want you guys to show some massive love to Victoria down below. Let's get 500 Victoria W's. As well as Caroline, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo. Good luck on your test tomorrow. Ari, thank you for the $5 for Momo. And then Jordan with the $5 as well. And then Michael, thank you for the $10 who says, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you so much, you guys. We're all caught up on Venmo and Super Chat. By the way, if you guys want to get a message across, ask a question, or you just want to support me in the stream so we could continue to do this for 4 hours a day, 7 days a week, you could actually find my Venmo and PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, as well as right there, Dean Withers without the E. I appreciate you guys so much for the love. While we're waiting on Right Wing Zoomer to get her laptop open, we're actually going to get a second guest connected. And Dad Bod, welcome in. I know you. I know you're MAGA. I know you're a Christian. While she's preparing her data to tell us why she still supports Trump, even though he's a blasphemer, how about you tell us what is your reaction to your president, your favorite president, depicting himself as your God?
I mean, I look at it from the same perspective that I always do. Trump's just trolling per usual.
So where in the Bible does it say it's okay to mock God as long as you're trolling? Because as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Christian theology, that's where the line falls. Thou shalt not hold false gods before me. You know, thou shalt not blaspheme. Thou shalt not mock the Lord your God. Even if it was a troll, okay, all that would change is Donald Trump's competence. He's already incompetent and deranged by comparing himself to God. But if he were to be comparing himself to God to troll the libs, this dude is not only incompetent and deranged, but he has the maturity of a third grader.
Yeah, he does. 100%. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you.
So you
also,
agree,
I look at
quote unquote, trolling doesn't change anything because nowhere inside of the Bible does it say you can mock God as long as you're owning the lips.
Oh, no. I don't think Trump's a Christian personally, but that's just my personal opinion. I mean, he can troll however he wants to troll, but that's literally what he's doing here. I'm not going to sit here as a Christian and say rightfully, yeah, what he's doing is, if he is a Christian, then he needs to be absolutely biblically rebuked, like corrected. But
Wait,
I don't
you're
think he's a Christian.
Do you think that sins only apply to other believers?
Yeah, actually, I do. I think that for and this is going to sound really weird, but maybe to some people, but I think that as a Christian, like if you are, let's just say you're a Christian as well, Dean. All right, I'm just hypothetically, you go to my church, and let's say you're married and you're committing adultery. It's my responsibility as a Christian to rebuke you, and I'm talking about, again, the biblical sense of rebuke, which is correct. Now, if you're just Joe Blow down the street and you're my buddy and you're, having an affair on your wife, I might say something to you, but it's not my responsibility or job to sit there and say, you're a bad, terrible person. You're sinning. You're damned to hell. That's just not my responsibility. So it's my responsibility to lead by example.
So you think that atheist women should have access to abortion because it's not your responsibility to hold them accountable?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying I'm not going to sit there and tell an atheist woman that she's an evil, terrible person and she's damned to hell because she's making a very poor decision based off of my personal beliefs and religious beliefs.
So then who are you to tell her that she shouldn't be able to get that abortion?
I'm not, and I wouldn't. I wouldn't sit there and tell her not to. I mean, that's
you're
just
pro-choice all 9 months in all 50 states.
I'm based on my religion. I am pro-life, but as far as if it's someone who's not a Christian and they're doing whatever they want to do with their body,
followers, okay, to abide by the testament of Scripture, not atheists, agnostics, or non-followers of the Christian faith.
Yeah, so basically, I believe that I'm not God. Therefore, I'm not here to judge others as far as whether or not they're going to be damned to hell or not. I'm just, as a Christian, I'm here to lead by example. And I also understand that as a Christian, that we're all humans, we're all fallible, we're all born into a world of sin. Therefore, we are going to sin and be sinful by nature. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I have the ability to, say whether or not someone is saved or not. That's not my. That's way outside of my limitations as a Christian.
Okay, so if you think that you can condemn women who are atheists who access abortion in the sense that you think if they were to, they should be sent to jail and that access in the first place should be made criminal, then why can't you condemn the president, the most powerful man alive, for committing the highest sin of blasphemy by comparing himself to the Lord your God?
Well, again, I'd have to be under the same belief system that I believe that he's actually a Christian first and foremost, and I don't think that he is.
Well, we've already moved past that roadblock. by you sharing with us the very simple fact that you think even atheist women should not legally be able to access abortion because you're pro-life. You think that even non-Christians can commit sins, and you think that non-Christians who do commit sins should be stopped, and if they do, then held accountable.
So I think that non-Christians and Christians alike, based off of their own morality and their own religious beliefs, are not. I'm not going to conflate the two and say that they're the same thing, because again, they're under a different law. As far as from a Christian perspective, if you are a Christian, then you should be under the law which was fulfilled,
then
by Christ
that you
from
think
the Old Testament.
Atheist women should legally be allowed to access abortion in all 50 states during all 9 months of pregnancy, since they are under a different law.
I would say that legally, they should be allowed to do that. I don't agree with that. I don't think that it's the right thing to do, however, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that they're, not entitled to do whatever they want with their own body.
Good. So I'm happy that I've now made you pro-choice, because that's what your logic includes. Okay, next question. Even though you don't think you could hold a non-Christian accountable for a sin such as blasphemy, and that's the argument that you're giving me in reference to Trump, why would you ever willingly choose to align yourself with a non-Christian blasphemer as president?
Well, that would go again based on what you and Parker both really get annoyed with me on, as far as I don't vote for a person specifically. I don't look at Trump and say he's the Republican Party. I literally look at the party, and I look at the policies and the bills that are being passed, and the ideological beliefs of what I believe versus am I more aligned with that party or not? So I don't care about that person. To me, and I've said this before, and I'll regurgitate to you, is I look at the president essentially as just a face, and that's pretty much it.
So if Epstein ran as the Republican nominee for the GOP party, would you vote for Epstein and then support him if he won?
If Epstein ran as the Republican Party nominee, this is the same question Parker asked me the other week, and I was not privy to all of the egregious things that he has done in his past, and he was promulgating a message of, an ideological belief system that was more aligned with me, then I probably would vote for him, because he's more so aligned with that party. And if that party was, again, promulgating the same ideas that I'm aligned with from an ideological perspective, then yes. But if I was privy to that information, then obviously I wouldn't vote for that person. I just wouldn't vote at all.
Okay. So you started off by saying if you didn't know who Epstein was, then you'd probably vote for him. I don't know why you'd even say that out loud, because you do know who Epstein is. We do know who Epstein is. Okay, that's like saying that if you didn't know that Hitler was culpable for the Holocaust, then would you have celebrated him killing himself? Right? No. Okay, that doesn't matter, because we do know who Hitler was. We do know who Epstein was. But all that's relevant here is at the end you said that no, you wouldn't vote for Epstein even if he ran as the nominee for the GOP. So you just threw your argument out the window, because your argument in reference to Trump was it doesn't matter if he commits the one unforgivable sin. It doesn't matter if he praises Allah, threatens to genocide 90 million people, attacks the Pope, then says he's God. All that matters is that he is the champion of the GOP platform that you support because of their policy. You've now thrown that argument out the window by telling us that, well, actually, those characteristics do matter, because if it wasn't Trump but rather Epstein, then you would not vote at all and you wouldn't support him.
Well, I think you took some of what I said out of context. First and foremost, I didn't say I didn't know who Epstein was. I was saying if I wasn't privy to the information as far as the egregious acts that he had committed, and he was aligned ideologically with the party and what they were promulgating based off of the messaging at the time, versus me actually knowing, what he's done, then those are two totally different things that we can't conflate
the first thing
those two things.
If I had known that Donald Trump, completely irrelevant. Because I'm asking the question in assumption that you do know who Epstein is. And of course that assumption would be correct, because you do know who Epstein is. Now, are you going to respond to the meat on the bone, or are you going to waste your time on these non sequiturs? Because the meat on the bone is that you completely just discarded the argument you were using to endorse and support Trump as president. All right?
But I'm not arguing that point. I've already said, and I've already critiqued Trump and what he's done. But again, I've also said that I don't believe truly that he's a Christian. Now, if he was, then I would say, as of right now, me being a Christian, him being a Christian, then he obviously needs to be completely corrected or rebuked from a biblical sense.
We've gone past that too. Because I'm not asking you to hold Trump accountable. Preferably, I would like it if you would. But all that I'm asking you right now is not to align yourself with Trump and to stop supporting him as president, because I think by second order consequence, that actually does help the Democrats hold him accountable. All right? Now, answer that. Now that we've agreed, you are not just going to vote for whoever runs on the platform of the GOP because you said you wouldn't vote for Epstein. Why do you continue to support Trump as president, even though he's the head of the platform of the GOP, in consideration of the fact that he aligned himself to be God, in consideration of the fact that he attacked the Pope, in consideration of the fact that he threatened to genocide 90 million?
That would have to be under the understanding, or your basic understanding, of me actually saying that I support Trump, of which I've never done. I've said I support our leader, I mean, in the past anyway, and I do. I don't care if I agree or disagree with them from an ideological perspective or political perspective. I still have to support our leader. Now, I might not always agree, but I also look at Donald Trump as a human being, just like you. We're fallible. We make mistakes. You've made mistakes. I've made mistakes.
You're contradicting yourself. So first and foremost, A equals B, B equals C. Therefore, A equals C. Okay. Dad bod supports the leader. Donald Trump equals the leader. Therefore, Dad bod supports Trump. Let's use our brains. Secondly, there's another contradiction that's been yielded here, because you said that you wouldn't support the leader if the leader was Epstein. And then third of all, you said everybody makes mistakes. Well, I don't think everybody has raped a woman, boasted about sexual exploitation, threatened the Pope, called themselves God, praised Allah, and then threatened to genocide 90 million. But even if everybody had done that, then nobody would be qualified enough to be president. And I think that our world would be much better without our species.
What's your definition of support?
Ultimately, you think it should be the case that he is president.
Well, no, what I'm saying is there's a difference between supporting a person from an ideological or political perspective versus supporting the actual person. Those are two very different things.
No,
I can support our leader.
As a person impacts who they are as a political leader and what they stand for from an ideological perspective. And you accepted this because you said that you would not support Jeffrey Epstein as president from an ideological and political perspective because of who he is as a person, or because of who he was as a person.
Based off of information, yes, if we're referring to Jeffrey Epstein, and based off of the information, if I was privy to knowing what he had done in his past, egregious acts, then yes, I would not vote for that person. Like I said, I would not vote.
And you wouldn't support him from an ideological or political perspective.
Dean, can I finish, or are you just going to keep cutting me off?
I feel like the reason why I'm starting to cut you off quite a bit is because you're regurgitating the same things that you've already said that I've already refuted, and I feel like at this point the argument has become quite redundant and circular due to your inability to genuinely engage in the critique in which I'm launching. You're still trying to make a separation between who Trump is as a person and the office in which he holds and what he believes from an ideological and political perspective, even though we solidified it as a fact like 10 minutes ago that ultimately you do think that who the person is relevant to your support for them from an ideological and political perspective, due to the fact that you said you wouldn't support Epstein as president from that ideological and political perspective, given the man he is, right? Just because we solidified that point 10 minutes ago, and then you continue to dispute and ignore the fact that we solidified that point 10 minutes ago, and your continued repetition of, oh, I don't support Trump as a person, but I do from an ideological and political perspective, it's just getting quite annoying, which is probably why I've increased my interruptions of your statements.
Okay, well, A, you're conflating different things, and B, you're not allowing me to land my plane, and C, if we're going to have amicable conversation in which we can actually be, have productive dialogue, then you have to let me finish my statements, and versus you just cutting me off all the time. That said, at this point in time, I really cannot regurgitate the same thing over and over to you when I've already tried to make my point to you, and you're just not getting it. It just seems performative now.
There's a difference between me not getting it and me refuting it, because what I'm doing is I'm refuting it. Trust me, I get your point. Your point is that you agree you don't support who he is as a person, but ultimately he's the representation and embodiment of the platform you support, the GOP, meaning that you therefore support him from an ideological and political perspective, and that's why you might support him as president, because you support the leader. Is that your point?
Relatively, yes.
Okay, so I do get your point. right? So you were wrong 30 seconds ago when you said I didn't get your point, correct?
Okay, Dean. Yes, I was wrong about you saying that you did not understand. I apologize for hurting your feelings. My
Right,
bad.
right. So now that we understand that I do get your point, I want you to understand my refutation of it. My refutation of your point is that point number one, the person, okay, is what dictates the political and ideological perspectives. All right? Like, for instance, because Trump is an apathetic person that doesn't care about others, i.e., he sexually exploited women and girls, he raped Eugene Carroll, then a court found him guilty. That's why, from the ideological perspective, he feels very confident in threatening the genocide of 90 million Iranians in an attempt to get what he wants. All right? Because the person is very egotistical, cocky, and crazy. Okay? You know, the whole small loan of $1 million. I'm the sexiest man alive. I'm the richest man alive. I'm the smartest man alive. I'm the best president in history. So that translates to his ideological and political perspectives of claiming to literally be God. So there's an ingrained connection between these characteristics. And I need you to see that ingrained connection, because that's exactly why you shouldn't support Trump as president.
Dean, if you just want me to sit here and agree with you and say Trump's a narcissist, then yes, I will totally agree with you all day long. I think he's a narcissist. But that said, I got to run. I will hit you up later, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate you saying that you have to run.
Not that way.
Have a good one.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hi.
So for
Hello.
everybody who's joined our live stream over the course of the last 10, 15 minutes, we had right-wing Zoomer loading up in here prior to our short and sweet conversation with Dadbod. Now, right-wing Zoomer took a break to do some research, open up her laptop, and try to find the really compelling reasons why Trump is a good president. You know, where we left off was me bringing up the fact that Donald Trump is a blasphemer. He claimed to be Jesus. That's God's red line. Blasphemy is the one unforgivable sin according to Mark. Why is it not your red line? And then that's when the question was launched. So now that we've identified all of these cons because you accepted and condemned Donald Trump for blaspheming God, what are the pros? So the ball's in your court, the mic and the floor are yours. Tell us, what are the pros of the Trump administration?
Thank you. Can I start off with, I know you're absolutely amazing at debating. I watch you. It is impressive. I am not. This would be my first debate, I guess you could say. So I'm not used to all of that, but I'm going to take it easy, especially with my anxiety. So if I don't do it properly, I apologize. The question, oh God.
The way to properly debate is to acknowledge truth when you discover it. So just make sure that you acknowledge truth when you discover it, which is likely when I will prove your argument wrong. But take it away.
So so you were basically saying, like, why would I still support Trump? Why would that not be the red line? When you say that, because you say that a lot where you try to get people to no longer support him, like, what is the purpose of that? Like, what difference would it make? I guess, like, I'm trying to understand, like, why they would need to condemn him and no longer support right then and now. Like, what is the goal from that?
Because you got to be an idiot to continue to support such a maniac. And I don't want people to be idiots. I think it's important that we are a smart, rational species that uplifts the leaders who want to fight for the common betterment of our kind compared to self-interested benefit at the expense of everybody else.
So there's no room for, okay, well, because he is the president, and regardless, personally for me, like, even with Joe Biden, I heavily disagreed with him, but he was still the president. So I did still want him to succeed. I wasn't just rooting for his complete downfall. You know, I did try to find where...
Me arguing that Trump is failing is not me arguing that I don't want Trump to succeed. I do want Trump to succeed, but the mere fact that he's not is why I find myself running this live.
Can I ask, because one of the reasons that I support him is, and I'm going to take my time with this too so I can actually gather my thoughts, sorry, the anxiety, but one of the reasons I support him is because of illegal immigration. So, like, where do you disagree with him on that?
Well, I mean, we're having quite the theological Christian conversation today, so let's make.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Well, you
I know.
did ask.
No, check this out. I don't think we should do a mass deportation, especially the way that Trump's doing it, i.e., fear-monger, prejudice white people into hating all undocumented immigrants by saying that they're the poison in the blood of our country, saying that they're violent, crazy, and escapees from prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums. And then to illegally deport them to be tortured in another country, argue that they don't have constitutional protections. Because I think that undocumented immigrants should be treated fairly and identically to the way that we treat citizens. Do you agree with that notion that undocumented immigrants should be treated fairly and identically to citizens?
In detail, what is that to you?
The same, that we should treat undocumented immigrants the same exact way that we would treat citizens. Okay?
Right.
And we do not, okay, say that citizens are violent and escapees from mental institutions and prisons. Therefore, when Donald Trump says that about undocumented immigrants, it's wrong. We do not, okay, illegally deport with no due process and disrespect to the Constitution citizens to be tortured and seek out in El Salvador. Therefore, when we do that to undocumented immigrants, it's wrong. And for these reasons, you shouldn't support mass deportation. But just overwhelmingly, would you agree with that message that we should be treating undocumented immigrants the same exact way we treat citizens?
So you mean when the moment they cross the border, they would have like full constitutional rights, etc.?
The same exact way. Do you agree or disagree with that message?
No, because I don't want to give any incentive for people thinking that they can bypass and just come into... Now, you see, misquoting the Bible...
I didn't misquote the
There's
Bible. I just have a screenshot of the Bible on the screen. That's all.
There is historical context to that. Hold on. What is it? Leviticus?
I didn't misquote anything. I just screenshotted Leviticus 19:33 through 34, where God says that you shouldn't mistreat the foreigners that reside among you in your land, and in fact, they must be treated identically to the native born, and you're supposed to love them as yourself, for you were once foreigners in Egypt. I'm the Lord your God. This is a quote from your king. King of Kings.
I don't call him king, and no MAGA actually supports him as being king. He is not a king.
No, this is a quote from God, King of Kings, Jesus Christ. It's
okay,
the
my
Bible,
bad.
goddammit.
I have anxiety. I apologize. I'm trying to... My bad. I'm sorry. Okay. So, I would believe that... So Leviticus, we're looking at... Sorry. Let me just gather my thoughts real quick. Okay. So I would say that this goes, like, historically speaking, right? We're talking, like, hold on one second. Let me go in to get the full definition of this. I'm going to look it up on my Bible app real quick, okay?
Okay.
So I would assume that this is more towards, because historical context, personally, I'm pretty sure this was directed at the Israelites. And they can't just go and accept people in love who look and act like them. I don't think this was for about just anyone who came and infiltrated the land and needed to be able to do whatever they wanted, stay, act how they wanted, and not have respect for the land. Now, I'm not saying that every illegal comes in here and they don't have respect for the land and they're running rampant. Absolutely not. I don't think Trump really frames it that way either. But I'd just say there is other context to that.
Then what's the context?
One second. Let me go to my Bible app. One second. Let me see. 1 second.
I think that's really important, right? Context?
Yes. Sorry, 1 second. Let me look it up. 1933.
While you're looking up the context, I'll just tell you what it is. So like the later books of Leviticus, starting at around maybe 17 to 25 or so, that's essentially just God laying the moral groundwork for how the Israelites are supposed to act in accordance with what is benevolent as defined by God during the Reconstruction period after they were freed from enslavement in Egypt. Now, this is where we get a lot of like moral law from Levitical law from in the Old Testament. So this is actually God telling the Israelites that for all the foreigners that reside among you in your land, now that you've come back from Egypt because you've been freed, you aren't supposed to mistreat them, and you should treat them identically to the other Israelites. So the reason why, of course, we're pulling on the scripture here is because you, as a good Christian, shouldn't support Trump because he's a blasphemer. A, he called himself God. but it doesn't weary your support. So certainly you as good Christians shouldn't support Donald Trump's mass deportation because that's in violation of God's moral law found in Leviticus 19. And let's see if that waves your support.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, am I unmuted? Okay, I am. What was the last part that you said? Sorry, I was reading the thing from the Bible app.
The synopsis of what I said is that only anti-Christian heretics could support Trump as president while claiming to be Christian. Now, am I calling you an anti-Christian heretic? Well, I guess in my last breath I did. But the nicer way to put it would be is I think that you're maybe confused and under the belief of indoctrination and misinformation insofar as why you continue to support Trump as president after everything that he's done while simultaneously claiming to be Christian. Like, we're just kind of scratching the surface here with a whole blasphemy and in contradiction of the moral values of Leviticus 19. We also read all throughout the testimony of the New Testament and the gospel that the way that you treat those with lesser than you is the way that you're treating the Lord your God. Okay, but then Donald Trump says, well, if you have lesser than me, fuck you. Passes a big beautiful bill, takes healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans when we already have 51,000 die every year via lack of access to healthcare. Fuck you. Takes food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans, leaves millions of children to starve. Okay. Says, fuck you. We're now going to just completely destroy the working class, make their healthcare premiums increase by 300%, make their energy costs increase by 150%, make the cost of their gasoline increase by the most it ever has in a month since Vietnam. And we're just generally going to reduce the purchasing power of anybody making at or under $51,000 per year because the CBPP, who did a study and analysis on the Big Beautiful Bill, told us that's what's going to happen. The same peace be to the peacemakers. Well, Donald Trump says, fuck the peacemakers. We're going to go start a war in Iran on the basis of a lie, which also thou shalt not bear false witness.
But he didn't
so fuck the
start
Ten
the war,
Commandments.
though.
And then we're going to bomb and kill 160 girls, take out civilian infrastructure, committing war crimes in the process, killing thousands of civilians as well. It's a mess. He's an anti-Christian mess. Nobody in their right mind, especially if they claim to hold the Christian worldview to be true, should never support Trump as president.
I'm going to take some notes on his... Okay, 1 second. Let me take some notes. So what war crimes did he commit? I'm guessing in Iran?
Well, taking out civilian infrastructure that didn't serve as a legitimate militant target. We also have war crimes in the South Caribbean when he would double tap suspected narco boats, which, by the way, we haven't even gotten any evidence that they were narco boats. Those were war crimes in accordance with the 8th article of the ICC and then the 12th article of the Second Geneva Convention from 1949.
What was the last thing you said? Sorry, I'm typing it.
The Second Geneva Convention of 1949 violated its 12th article.
And you don't see anything. Is there anything that you've genuinely thought that maybe he kind of did right or that you could agree with in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, when he didn't actually genocide the Iranian people like he said he was going to. That's something I thought he did right. I'm happy he didn't actually genocide them, contrary to what he said.
So, not the fact that he saved a bunch of children for being actually trafficked and rescued them, that's not one of the things?
Oh, what children did he save from being trafficked?
1 second, let me pull it up. Let me grab the...
It certainly wasn't the children trafficked by Epstein and co., because he's been fighting tooth and nail to prevent the release of their names, their identities. He's been protecting the hell out of them. Congress ordered him to release 100% of the Epstein files by December 19th. That was 5 months ago, and they still haven't released 2 million of the 6 million files. And then the 4 million files that they did release included very heavy redactions to the names, the identities, and the information of the co-conspirators in defiance of Congress, violation of the federal law, and defiance of women, girls, and the rest of the American electorate. Defied we the people to protect the perpetuators of these heinous sex crimes in the process. But he loves to protect the perpetuators of heinous sex crimes because he protects himself all the time. Court ruled he raped E. Jean Carroll, and he admitted to barging into the dressing rooms of naked beauty pageant contestants to take a look at their naked bodies. That's sexual exploitation.
So because I seen you debate Kim Higbee on that, and I did listen to your argument, and so I don't really have much to review. I have trouble coming to a conclusion on that one, honestly. But
why?
I don't know much about the situation to actually sit there and say. I mean, I can hear your argument, I can understand what you're saying, but I don't know the full context of everything outside of just your argument.
I feel like I don't know the full context is used as a rhetorical shield for willful ignorance. We know enough of the context to conclude that Donald Trump sexually exploited beauty pageant contestants. That context, of course, being what he admitted to Howard Stern on his radio show in 2005. We play this clip on our live at least once a day, and this will be the first time of 2 day. Here's Donald Trump 2005 admitting to sexual exploitation.
Also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
you're like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with it.
Here's more context. This is one of the women he was talking about. Tasha Dixon, Miss Arizona from Miss USA in 2001.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
As Miss Arizona 2001, Tasha Dixon competed in the Miss USA pageant. Donald Trump owned the contest along with Miss Universe and Miss Teen USA for 19 years.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis. To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him.
There's a
Who was
context.
the woman speaking?
I told you, Tasha Dixon, Miss Arizona from Miss USA in 2001.
And what's the story with her? Did she go to court with what happened with that? Did she just say it on an interview and then never did anything forward? What's the full context of her situation?
Yeah, she just said it on an interview, never pursued legal repercussions.
But at the same time, I'm not trying to E. Jean Carroll. I'm not going to say that she's a liar at all. But with this woman, what if I go on an interview and just say something against Biden? Why are we just taking?
Well,
this as
did
a
Biden
fact?
admit to sexually exploiting you 20 years ago?
He admitted to sexually
Because
exploiting her.
let me get this straight. If Biden did admit to sexually exploiting you 20 years ago, and then today you said Biden sexually exploited you, God damn it, I'd believe you. I'd call anybody who wouldn't believe you insane.
See, so Trump said that he went into the women's locker room and very disgusting thing. I'm not taking that away. That is disgusting. I mean, we could play the audio again. I think his wording was very precise. I'm not going to take this one unless you're saying that he openly admitted with this woman. Then I'm not going to take this as fact.
You're crazy. That's mean. I'll be kinder. Well, let me rephrase myself. You're unbelievable. Okay? You're completely unbelievable. You heard him admit to it, but then you deny the women that he said he did this to? Okay. So you agree.
So then why didn't she go forward? Why didn't this specific woman? That's what I'm talking about.
One moment. Let me finish. So you agree that there's at least one woman out there that has the same story that Tasha Dixon just told, even if it's not Tasha Dixon. And we know there's at least one woman out there that has that same story to tell because of what Donald Trump admitted to, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Then
I'm not going to say that they don't have the same story.
Let's depersonalize this away from Tasha Dixon, because I don't want Tasha Dixon to be catching random strays in front of 25,000 people, because we're going over Donald Trump's terrible character. So now that we've depersonalized it away from Tasha Dixon, and you agree that there's at least one woman out there who genuinely has the story of Donald Trump sexually exploiting them, you've now accepted that Donald Trump has genuinely sexually exploited somebody.
I fully condemn that. I think it's disgusting.
Okay. Do you think that it's disgusting enough to disqualify somebody from being president?
Okay, don't take this answer because I have not given my answer yet, but I do want to know the question to this, okay? Even if I came up and say, okay, I don't support him anymore, like in the grand scheme, what does that do? I mean, I could still go in and see when he does something, see if it's good, see if I like it, etc.
I'm not going to allow you to try to move away from
I'm not
holding
trying to.
yourself
I'm not.
accountable,
It's a genuine question.
because you ultimately
I'm not
think that
trying
that
to.
accountability is minuscule and meaningless in the grand scheme of things. And I'm going to ask you to answer my question. Do you think that sexual exploitation is disgusting enough to disqualify somebody from being president?
Yes, obviously.
So then you think Trump should be disqualified from being president?
In the grand scheme of things, let's just say if you were to
No.
have given me no, just let me, because
No.
it's not going to go where you think it's going to go. Can I just speak?
We just got a restriction on the live stream. This is what TikTok has been doing
Sorry.
to us so frequently as of recently. They've just been randomly restricting my live streams once we're able to get a bunch of people in here because they hate the people hearing the truth. We're probably going to end up restarting, but not now. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's just say everything you said to me was 100% truth. There's no more to it, no more context, no more whatever. Then I would 100% agree with you. Now, after this, I'm screen recording. I'm going to go and do a deep dive on everything to get all sides' perspectives, come to my own conclusion. But let's just say everything you said was 100% correct, then yes, I would completely agree with you.
So is everything I said 100% correct about him sexually exploiting these women? Because you already agreed to that. So are you going to walk it back now?
Well, I'm saying I'm going to take everything that you said, because I've screen recorded everything,
Do you
and then
still
go and do my own
stand
deep dive.
by your acknowledgement that it's true
Well,
Donald Trump has sexually exploited people?
There's still thousands and millions
Can I
of people
please get
who
a
haven't
yes or
taken
no?
that. Hold
Do
on,
you
there's
still stand by your previous acknowledgement that Donald Trump has sexually exploited women?
I will reevaluate everything and do a deep dive
That
and
is
come to
not
a
a
conclusion
yes.
because
That is not a no. Do you stand by your previous acknowledgement that Donald Trump has sexually exploited women?
according to what you've shown me and what you've said, if that is true, then yes, and I will
I
completely
don't want
withdraw
an
support if that was
then
true.
conditional. You're saying if it's true, then I stand by that acknowledgement. No. I want to know if you think it's true. I want to know if right now you stand by that acknowledgement. Do you still stand by your previous acknowledgement that Donald Trump has sexually exploited women?
From everything you've shown me and what you've said, yes. I still want to know why everyone else, what they have to say, the evidence they have, and why they would still support Trump despite this. Because if this was 100% true and it was the end-all be-all, then why would they still support him? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Perfect. So now that you've agreed that it is true, Donald Trump has sexually exploited women.
Well, I said from what you've shown me, and from what you said.
So you don't actually think it's true because you don't think what I've shown you is sufficient.
Like I just said, there's still millions upon millions of Trump supporters, so I would like to see what they're
just in consideration of all facts, in consideration of everything, do you think that Donald Trump sexually exploited these women?
I don't know if I'm 100% confident that he did. I think I could take everything that you've shown me and say he did. Can you show me exactly where he said he did?
April 10th, 2005, Howard Stern's radio show. I've already told you that.
Can you play it for me? Or did you already play it?
I already played it for you. I could play it for you again, but you've already heard it.
I mean, so where's... Okay, yeah, just play it one more time for me, please. Just one more time.
Fine by me.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with it.
So I'll acknowledge that he said dresses, and then he said under his breath, no clothes. He mumbled that very quickly, so I'll acknowledge that. And then he says, I kind of get away with it. If he wasn't doing anything wrong, he wouldn't say, I'm kind of getting away with it. And he did mumble no clothes. So, yeah, he did admit to something extremely disgusting. I will fully admit that.
Okay. So you accept he sexually exploited these women, right?
Yeah.
And earlier
Yeah, I
you
mean,
accepted that sexual exploitation is so disgusting it should disqualify somebody from being president, right?
he's president now, so I mean,
I didn't ask you if Trump is president now. Just work with behind a screen. Yeah, man. He doesn't even have like his face out or nothing. Thank you for the $20 Sky. Jamie, thank you for the $10. Who says this guy sounds exactly like my narcissistic ex? I bet he's somebody's narcissistic ex. Oh wait, that would imply that he's able to get in a relationship in the first place. Wrong. Jason, thank you for the $5. Emily, thank you for the $3. Ashley, thank you for the $10. I appreciate you. Asia, thank you for the $5. And then Christina, thank you for the $25 donation on Venmo. Christina, who says any man who uses the E. Jean Carroll case as their main argument for continuing to support Trump is saying the quiet part out loud. We will never see a woman using this. I know, right? 110%. You said the quiet part out loud. Thank you, Christina. Then Krista, thank you for the $5. Nolan, thank you so much for the $10. And then Ruth, thank you so much for the $15 donation, who says from a Ruth who agrees with you. And the reason why she says that, by the way, is because our last MAGA guest was a woman by the name of Ruth. We are all caught up on Super Chat. We are all caught up on Venmo. Let's quickly get caught up on PayPal. On PayPal, thank you very much for the love. Taylor, who says, Trump using plurals also suggests that this isn't the only thing that he does to exploit them, or the only time he's done it. I know, right? No, I personally believe that he did it in a bunch of his pageants over the course of multiple years. Thank you for the $10, Taylor. Amanda, thank you so much for the $5, who says he wins award for the most obnoxious guest ever. Yeah, right. Demi, thank you for the $10. I appreciate you, Demi. Cammy, thank you so much for the $10. And then Dylan, thank you so much for the $30 donation. You are so fucking kind. Thank you, Dylan. Dylan with the $30 says, hey, Dean, love your debates. We have MAGA over here in Australia who want Trump as prime minister. Dude, there's some crazy Australians, super like racist neo-Nazis. I've seen a couple out there. Thank you for the $30. And then we got a big one here. Gabby, thank you so much for the $100 donation on PayPal from the bottom of my heart. That is so beyond kind of you. Not a bone in my body deserves that. Thank you, Gabby. Gabby with $100 says, from Gabby, hope you're well, Dean. Hearing some of the changed opinions on Trump today is truly a win, my friend. Please continue to cook and to do your thing. The education must go on until the good fight is won. Gabby, you're so inspirational. Thank you for the incredibly true and kind of words. All the love in the world to you, Gabby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then Patrick, Brittany, and Catherine, thank you, all three of you guys, for the $10 individually. I'm going to read y'all's messages to myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dude, show some love to the donors down below in the chat. I'm beyond grateful. If you want to support me, if you want to support the stream, you can find my Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and the handle is right. I can't say that word on TikTok, so I'm going to cut myself off there. I might get a flag now. Don't worry about it. Just technicalities of the words I can and can't say. But anyways, MAGA American, can you please thank all of those donors?
What's that?
Can you thank them for
thank you, guys.
Good boy.
Anyway, I do have an actual question I want to get to, but I'm not going to ask that right now. There's a little bit more about E. Jean Carroll. You do realize her case was past, what's the word? Statute of limitation. Now, Biden put something in place where it was called the Survivors Act that allowed a 1-year pass for everybody. Isn't that kind of suspicious, man? Isn't that kind of suspicious? Yeah.
Somebody asked me about this on Parker's stream earlier. The first point that I make is even if there was legislation passed just so she could pursue charges against Trump, I would say that there's nothing better than that. That is super democratic, that is super pro-American, and that's super pro-rape victim. I could tell you why. It's because instead of just blasting Trump for being a rapist on social media or claiming his guilt without his day in court, they passed legislation to allow his rape victim to take him to court in respect to his right to a defense, in respect to his right for due process, and in respect to his right to a judge and a jury. So if that was true, I'd approve. But it's not. A, it wasn't federal legislation, it was state legislation, so Biden didn't pass it. And B, it was actually passed for survivors of SA at the hands of church fathers.
It was in New York, yes. So I brought that up because... Give me 1 second. I'm actually getting a call.
It's probably from your buddy telling you to act like your power went out, so then I don't have to embarrass you further, little bro. wait, he, quote unquote, picked up the call? I think he's running.
No, I'm not running.
Oh, good boy.
Anyway, I had a point I was making, but kind of lost my chain of thought.
I know. You have the
You
memory of a
guys
goldfish.
were trying to insult me earlier about, you do realize I have a wife and kids?
Do they go to another school down the block?
Wow. Can't even give me a decent insult. Anyway. Now, here was my chain of thought, though. Have you ever read Carol's book?
I've not read the whole book.
21
I've read
Indecent?
excerpts.
So she had a chance to bring up the other men she talked about, other men that she claimed that raped her. Why didn't she do that? Why
Well, I
only
mean, there
Donald
could
Trump?
be about a billion reasons. I'll go through them. So first, inside of that book, she only accused one other man of rape, and that would be the ex-CEO
Two.
of no.
Two.
Who were they?
It was what's that guy's name? See, I can't remember that, man. Come on.
Larry, the ex-CEO of CBS.
Say that again. What's his name?
Larry.
No. It was another guy.
Les. You're right. Les Moonves.
What's that?
His name's Les, not Larry.
He was a CEO. I'm talking about the CEO of
Yes.
some kind of news.
Les Moonves was
Okay.
the former chairman and CEO of CBS.
So why didn't she use that Survivors Act to get him?
Yeah,
Why only-
I think that's
why-
a
why only
good question.
Trump?
I think that's a good question with a good answer. There's about a billion different explanations here. She probably thought that she had more evidence of Trump raping her compared to Les Moonves. That's the most
they
likely
didn't.
explanation.
They had very little evidence.
Okay, I dispute that. But regardless of the fact that I dispute that, even if it was true that she had very little evidence against Trump, she likely had even less evidence against Les.
Okay. So I would like to get deeper into this because I have so much more I could talk about, but I would like to schedule an actual debate with you later. Before I go, though.
No, you're debating me right now.
No, I want an actual 1v1. I got to get back to work, though.
This is an actual 1v1. You can't take the heat?
No, this is not a 1v1. You're doing a multiple guests, but how about, because I know that you've been challenged. I know you've been challenged.
Wait, one second.
Person.
You said this was not a 1v1. Are you like seeing other
I'm
people on the
talking
panel?
about a 1v1 in person.
Oh, in person. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Pay me 50 grand and I'll do that.
Actually, I'll just fly you out where I am, here at
No.
Johnson Space Center.
No, you could pay me 50 grand. That'll make it worth my time. You're just a no one?
How about this? If you beat me into the debate, I'll give you 50 grand.
No, it'd be paying me 50 grand just for being there.
So you're scared. You do
No,
realize
you're
I'm
just
not going to do
nobody.
anything. You're going to be in
Let
a
me
public
clarify.
area.
There's levels to this shit.
No, there's no levels. You're not worth 50 grand.
There's levels to it? Okay.
You're not worth 50 grand, man.
Oh, okay. All right. Then you don't have to pay me 50 grand to debate me in person, but without
You know,
that paycheck,
I've scheduled
I'm
this same
interested,
thing with
quite
Destiny.
frankly. Oh, God. Really?
Well, Destiny is...
At your level? Insane. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
all right.
okay.
You're more
Destiny
than
has-
welcome to 1v1 me right here, right now on the internet, but you're not worth my time unless you pay me 60 grand.
So just say you're scared. It's fine.
If I was scared of a debate, then why would you be more than welcome to debate me online? Think about it.
That's the stupidest...
Use your fucking brain.
That's the stupidest... What are you talking about?
Like, use your brain, dude. Exactly. You know I'm not wrong here.
No. Dude, you're not
Like-
worth $50,000. I mean,
Okay.
if I was talking to Harry, maybe, but...
Okay, then you certainly don't
You're
have to.
kinda below Harry,
But, I
man.
mean, that's kind of my price tag if you want to fly me out to debate you.
No, that's your excuse. Come on, man. Be realistic.
Excuse for
I'm
what?
not gonna
Once
hurt
again,
you, man.
you can't say
You don't have to
excuse
worry
to
about
not
it. I'm not gonna
debate
hurt
you.
you.
Listen, you
Hey,
can't
look,
say
look.
excuse to not debate you because I'm actually so willing to debate you that I
It
have
might-
you on live stream right now in front of 28,000
person,
people
it would
to
be
debate.
so much more
then I'm
better because I
asking you
can
to do
guarantee
more
you
better.
would not be disrespectful, right?
Okay. Well, then if you happen to run into me at like America
Look.
Fest, because I tend to go to that every year in Arizona, feel free to debate me in person. If you happen to see me
But
on a
this is
Jubilee
content,
video
dude.
and
This
you
would
want to
be-
apply
no,
to
I'm
that
serious. I'm
Jubilee
being
video,
serious, Dean. I'm
feel
being
free.
serious. Listen. I'm being serious. This is some good content. You would be in NASA debating me.
Okay. I couldn't give a shit. I couldn't.
I can give you a tour of the facility. If you get famished, I can get you a Happy Meal. You know you want that toy.
Okay, and I think I know you want me for some really weird reason. You
No,
could debate
no, I
me
just
online.
want to have a
And it okay,
one-on-one
listen,
debate in
I'm
person.
trying to tell you here. You're not listening. You are more than welcome to debate me online. And if you really want to debate me in person, then apply to every Jubilee episode you see. And you might one day run into me there or show up to America Fest every year because I show up to America Fest every year. But you
problem
are a
with that
nobody.
is
You are an internet random
have a
stranger.
job.
Of course, I would not allow any internet
I
random
have an
stranger
actual
with
job.
1,000 followers to pay me to hop on a
I
flight
have
to
an
debate you in
actual
person. To be
job.
clear, that's weird.
I have an actual job. You don't. Come on, man. You
I
got
don't have
plenty
a
of
job.
time.
Define that word, job.
Are you serious, man? Now we're gonna
Yes.
you're not gonna get me down talking about definitions.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about definitions.
Define the word job.
I'm not gonna go down your little rabbit
Then
hole.
okay, so you can't
Look,
defend
look,
the
look.
premise that I don't have a
No,
job
you
because
want
you
to
know I do.
talk about definitions.
No, one moment.
About definitions.
You can't
wanna
defend the
talk about
proposition.
definitions.
You cannot defend the proposition that I don't have a job because you know that I do. You just made the suggestion that I don't have a job.
You're an
That's not
influencer.
something that you can't defend. That's not something that you
You're an
can defend
influencer.
because there's
You're
not
an
a single cogent or reliable definition of the word job. Okay, that would exclude me. And then you responded by saying I'm an influencer. Yeah, many influencers have jobs.
Mm-hmm. Do you pay taxes
Yes. What
with
a
the
dumb
money
question.
you gain from here? All these.
Yes.
So you're going to pay taxes from these donations?
Yes.
Doubtful.
Dude, what do you mean? I'm legally obligated to.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You're going to release your tax form?
No.
Anyway, remember earlier when I was
Okay,
telling you I
so
had
you
a
admit
question?
that I have a job, right?
No.
Oh, why?
Remember earlier you were saying...
Ashton, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo for the job. Andrew, thank you so much for the $5 as well. I appreciate you so much, Andrew. Tyler, thank you for the $15 donation. It says, "Ah, poor baby muffin. If too weak and pathetic to find facts to back up his claims." Thank you for the love, Tyler. Show some love to Tyler down below. Sarah, thank you for the $5 for the job. And then Abby, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. He says he sounds like he'd have some dirty-ass fingernails, probably. Thank you for the $15 for the job, Abby. Show some love to Abby down below. Joe with the $10 who says, "Trump devotion syndrome, final boss, truly delusional." He's nuts. Thank you so much for the love and support. Over on Super Chat, thank you so much, Angelina, for the 28 Canadian dollars, who says, "Just watched your debate with Emily. She was nuts." Oh, I know. She was so insane. Thank you for the 28 Canadian dollars, Angelina. Show some love to Angelina down below. Starry, thank you for the $10, just asking me to kick him again. And then, oh my God, Mary, thank you so much for the $100 donation over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love and support, Mary. And I just read your message, sending you
cringe.
tons of love and support, my friend. Thank you so very much for the $100. I want to see 1,000 Mary W's down below in the chat for supporting the job. Thank you so very much. That is like seriously fucking nuts. Insane. As well as Angela, thank you for the $23 donation for your job. Thank you, Angela. Michael with the $20 donation as well, who says guy definitely has a pit in his basement. Thank you for the $20, Michael. Then Drew the $5 who says this is literally just a modern radio show host gig. It's a job. Deadass, he's delusional. On PayPal, thank you, John, for the $5 for the job. Karen, thank you for the $10 for the job. Catherine with the $5 for the job. Layla with the 50 cents
Nobody
since
has
you
a
don't have a
basement
job.
these days.
Then Marissa, thank you so much for the $20, who says, "Hey, Dean, I just wanted to. I've been here since the start and wanted to say that the way that you challenge ideas without losing empathy is powerful." Oh, thank you, Marissa. Let's get to it, Marissa W's. As well as
Hey,
Patrick,
you're
thank you
going
for
to
the
waste
20.
my time, dude. You could do this
Wait,
right after I ask my question.
Feel free to run. It's fine. Patrick with the $20 says, "I'm MAGA, and I genuinely like to thank
wasting
your
my
chat
time,
for
dude.
helping you out and showing love in your expression of free speech." Patrick, you should hop in that queue. I think that we'd be able to change your mind, dude. Please. Thank you for the $20. Augustine, thank you for the $20 as well. He says, thank you so much for what you did. Well, thank you, Augustine. I'm so happy that you find what we do here to be valuable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then Amanda with the $5 for the job. Taylor, thank you so much for the $10 for the job. As well as Mike, thank you for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat, who says, Trump is deploying JD Vance to clean up his mess with what he said about the Pope. Have a great day, Dean. What do you mean by deploying, Mike? Please shoot me over the breaking news headlines. I'd love to take a look. And thank you so much for the love and support. You are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is very kind of you. $50 is a shit ton of money. On Venmo, thank you so much, Peter, for the $30 donation, who says, hearing this guy say that he'd rather debate in person is the most obvious sign he knows he'd continue being utterly cooked debating you now. Dude is a straight coward like every MAGA tool. Peter, I love how cutthroat you are. You were like legit a superhero. Show some love to Peter.
You won't say that to my
for
face.
supporting the job. I'd say this shit to your face, buddy. Calm down. You're weak. You're small. Okay, you're irrelevant. I don't know what the fuck you. I don't know who the fuck you think you are. All right, I say this to the face of MAGA crooks like you on a daily basis. You could say I wouldn't all you want, but at the end of the day, if push were to come to shove, I would. And did you just ask if I could count my teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you count?
Oh, yeah.
Not teeth. Just can you count?
Anyway.
Can you count? Just period? No, you can't.
Sure.
No, I don't doubt.
Sure.
Doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's gotta get that. Oh man, all right. Yeah, all right, war's over. That dude was nuts. That dude was nuts. Holy shit. Okay, all right. Let's go to get that next guest up here. Jill, brought you up for one purpose only. You probably won't be on for too long though.
Hi, baby. What's up? Let me turn this down, darlings. What's up,
I know.
babe?
Hi. So, Jill, I know in the past you have been quite rude to me for saying things that you've interpreted as a lack of faith in the Christian God or an attack on the Christian God.
Really?
Thanks, Jill. But the question I have for you as a MAGA Christian, what are your thoughts on Donald Trump blaspheming the Lord by depicting himself as Jesus Christ?
Well, wait a minute. I don't see no crown of thorns on his head. I don't. And that isn't. That was J.E. there, right? And he was trolling you guys. When are you guys going to get it? Huh?
Wait, you said that it wasn't a depiction of Jesus.
I love you. What?
You said that it wasn't a depiction of Jesus Christ because there was no crown of thorns.
There's no crown of thorns on his head. There's nothing about a cross.
I have a question.
If he is, you know what? You don't mock God. He is going to be in trouble if he's actually thinking that he is God or putting himself in the place of Jesus Christ, period. I don't believe that that's what he was going for. I believe that, just like it says, healer. How many other people healed in the Bible? Dean, do you know that, honey?
Is this a depiction of Jesus Christ?
Well, they say that, but I don't think it is. Anyway,
I agree. It's not an accurate depiction of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you if it is a depiction of Jesus Christ.
I don't think so. No. Listen, you tell me.
What? I understand if you want to say it's not accurate, okay, because Jesus Christ wasn't a white man. But,
okay, if you want to say it is,
clearly
okay.
that is a depiction
we'll play
of Jesus,
your little
right?
game. Okay. Well, you say it is. I say it's not.
Why do you say it's not?
It's just I just don't think it looks like the one that I've seen on the shroud. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you take the imagery in the shroud to be a depiction of Jesus?
I think that's as close as they're going to get. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the depiction of Jesus and the imagery in the shroud, was there a crown of thorns?
No, because remember they took it off of him.
Okay, so therefore, in accordance with your standard, it's not a depiction of Jesus Christ. Because in response to seeing an image of Donald Trump wearing the white garments with the red cloth, healing with his hands with the magical divine, with the angels coming down from the sky, ultimately you said that is not a depiction of Jesus Christ because there's no crown of thorns. Yet there's no crown of thorns on the Shroud of Turin, and it is a depiction of Jesus Christ. So you're not staying consistent with your logic.
Okay, well, listen. How many? You guys said that only Jesus healed people, right? Can heal or whatever, right? Which it's true. So you know Trump can't heal anybody. But in biblical days, what did God give man power to do? To people who were sick or needed to be I have exorcisms done or whatever. I forgot what they actually referred to it back then. It wasn't an exorcist, but to deliver them from demons. Thank you, Lord. To deliver them from demons and stuff like. Who did He give that power to? They couldn't do it on their own. But who did He give the power to deliver and heal and stuff like that? Do you know?
It's very context dependent based upon like what book of the Bible you'd be referencing here. For the most part of the New Testament,
Well, it's when Jesus walked with His disciples. That's when
the only person in the in the New Testament, who had the ability to heal a sick man with divine powers in His hands was Jesus Christ. Nobody else.
Okay, well, He was here on earth, and then when Jesus left, who did He give the same power to? He said, "You would even be able to do more. You will be able to do bigger and more miracles when He descends. Ascends into heaven. Who did He give those powers to, Dean?
I mean, I think that's a little bit more of a rhetorical reference to doing the miracle of like saving people's eternal everlasting lives by converting them to Christians.
No. Only Jesus can save you forever.
I know, but in converting somebody to a Christian, you're ensuring that Jesus would be able to save them, like the apostles, for instance. I'm just really confused on where
the disciples.
Can you shut the fuck up, Jill?
Well,
thanks.
Yeah, I'm giving you the answer. I'm trying to help you out.
Where we're getting lost in translation here, because this is a depiction of Trump as Jesus. We know that because, like the modern day depiction of Jesus very frequently would include wearing a white robe with a red garment over their shoulders. Modern day depictions of Jesus would also include, like healing the sick with magical powers in the hands, like these glowing orbs that we could see on screen. And then, of course, the same thing could be said about these quote-unquote angels. It doesn't really look like an angel, but the angels ascending from the heavens while the depiction of Jesus Christ is healing the sick.
I mean, descending from heaven. But anyway, listen, if he's trying to mock God, it's not going to be good for him, okay? I'll just give that to you. But
why is it
I think he's trolling. I think he's trolling people like you because your little wheels get turning, and
the Bible doesn't say it's okay to mock God as long as you're trolling the libs.
Yeah, you all have the same little talking. You guys need to get your own material. You guys feed off of each other. You're like, okay, what did this gem say? What did this creator say? Oh, okay. When they come up on my panel, I'm going to say that same thing.
Can you answer the question, please?
Get your own stuff.
Can you answer the question?
What?
Where in the Bible does it say it's okay to mock God as long as you're owning the libs?
Oh, it's not okay to mock God ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay, so then it's condemned Donald Trump for mocking God.
No, he's trolling you guys, is what I said.
By mocking God.
Never good to mock God. You see what happens to people that do mock God, and no, it's not good.
Then condemn him for mocking God.
He trolls you.
I know, but he's trolling me by mocking God. Well, I'm not even a Christian, but mocking the Christian God. Okay? So condemn him for mocking God, because you are a Christian.
If he is, he's not mocking. I don't think he is.
So depicting yourself as God is not mocking God?
I condemn it. If he is, I condemn it. Absolutely.
Do you think that depicting yourself as God is mocking God?
He's not depicting himself as God.
Then what is he depicting himself as?
Trolling you guys.
No, answer the question. What is he depicting himself as in this image?
Maybe a disciple or something, pretending like he can heal.
Can disciples heal people with their hands?
Yes, disciples can heal through the power. Yes.
Okay.
Remember, Jesus gave them the power.
Prove it.
Oh, in the Bible? Oh,
what verse?
Okay. Hold on, baby. I got you, honey. Hold on, sweetheart. Hold on. Let's see which disciple healed the body. Hold on. I wish. Let me get on one of my other phones. Yeah, you can look it up. It's right there at your fingertips, baby. Hi, Isabella. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? God bless you guys. Let's see. Which disciples were able to heal other humans by the power of the blood through Jesus Christ? And the yeah, here we go. Oh, what's it say there, Bubs? Go to Acts 5:12, honey. Do you see that? Can
I'm
you
not.
read that for me out
I'm
loud?
not
Out loud.
seeing.
Out loud. Read that out loud for me, honey.
So
Could you
I'm
read
not.
that for me, baby?
So I'm not seeing Acts, but what I am seeing is Luke, Matthew, and Mark. And it is true that in Luke, Matthew, and Mark,
Thank
Jesus
you.
gave his disciples, both the 12 and the 72, power
Yes.
to heal diseases and outcast demons in his name.
Absolutely. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Now,
Thank
I
you
guess the
for
next
reading that
thing I
out
would
loud.
say is that we know that this isn't a representation of Jesus Christ as an apostle of God healing in his name, because he's wearing the garments in which are very much so used in modern times in official depictions of Jesus Christ. For anybody watching the stream, likely including yourself, Jill, who either grew up Christian or is Christian today, I am positive that you are more than knowledgeable of modern day depictions of Jesus Christ wearing the white garments with the red robes tossed over his shoulders. Maybe if he was not wearing, the typical garments used to describe and depict Jesus in modern times, you might have an argument. But due to the garments in which he's wearing, your argument vanishes.
Okay. Well, what about this? Did you hear him come out? He said, where did they come up with this? He said, only libs could come up with a theory like that. He said he was pretending to be a doctor in healing JE. So he could troll you guys because he's supposed to be unalive, but we don't believe he's been unalive. So he's pretending like he's going to bring him back to life. So when you do see him alive, you guys will know exactly what he was doing here. Okay.
I
Have
think
you
if you
seen the
can't.
pictures of JE in Israel surrounded by a bunch of
So you actually think that this was him healing Jeffrey Epstein? Wow.
yeah. So he could get his due process with the Lord. Yeah, while he's here, so we could all see it on earth. Because he wants him to get his buddy, and he wants to see it. God said we get to see the desires of our hearts upon our enemies.
Okay.
And
I'm
JE
going to ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you an image, and then I want you to tell me what this is an image of.
Okay.
Sound good?
Good.
Good. Let me find it. Looks like I'll just have to screen share it with you. What is this an image of?
Thank you, doctor. What is that an image of? It looks like a Muslim. I don't know.
What?
It looks like a Muslim. That's how they dress, right? Oh, wait a minute. He's got a crown. Oh, okay. I see it now. Oh, okay. So that's evidently a picture of what they feel Jesus looked like. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I just now seen the crown
Okay.
of thorns.
So this is a depiction of Jesus.
Okay.
Wait, this isn't
Hi,
a depiction
hi,
of a
baby.
doctor? Because this is exactly that's exactly
don't see
what,
no
what,
crown
what
of
Donald
thorns
Trump
on-
was wearing in this AI photo.
Where's
If
the
we
crown of
actually if we
thorns? I
if
don't
we
see no
actually if we
crown.
actually compare the garments being worn in the photo I showed you compared to the garments being worn
baby.
by Donald Trump in the AI photo, they're identical. And you were telling me that it's so clear in this photo that he's just a doctor, and that only the left-wing liberal media could ever misconstrue that to be a depiction of Jesus Christ. But are you the left-wing, leftist, communist media? Because you just misconstrued those garments to be that of Jesus Christ. Give me a break, okay, with that excuse that Donald Trump legitimately thought that this was a doctor. He is either
Bring
stupid.
it back up, you
One
conspiracy
moment.
theorist.
He is either stupid or he thinks we, and when I say we, I mean you, are stupid.
No,
Let me explain
you
myself.
had it right
Let me
the first
explain
time, baby.
myself.
We.
Let me explain myself.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Because doctors actually do not wear white garments with
you, God.
red. Please stop interrupting me.
If they're
With-
spiritual,
Can you please stop
if they're
interrupting me?
spiritual,
Point me towards a spiritual doctor that wears white and red garments and heals people with mystical, magical orbs from their hands as angels descend from the heavens.
This is supposed to be a spiritual thing. You don't understand because you said
Point
you're
me
not
towards
even
a spiritual
Christian.
doctor that does
How
that.
can you even talk about it if you're not even a part of that?
Just point me towards a
belief?
spiritual doctor that does that, please.
Well, I'll look some up. Anyway.
Do it. No, not anyways. Do it right now because you said that it's so
Okay, hold
clearly
on.
a doctor.
Hold on. Have you ever had a doctor want to pray for you during surgery or before? Huh? Have you?
Well,
Have you? Have you? Yes or no question?
Personally not, but I would assume that happens sometimes. But
Yeah,
when a doctor
all
would
the
want to
time.
shut up. When a doctor would want to pray for a patient prior to surgery, which I'd assume would happen at some like weird ass hospitals, not gonna lie. Okay? They don't go into the other room, take off their scrubs, throw on a white robe with red over their shoulders, and then grow magical, mystical, divine powers of the emanation of light from their palms. That doesn't happen.
Okay. Well, anyway, like I said, you guys are
Not in any way. You still have to give me an example of a spiritual doctor that looks
well,
like
I don't think they
this.
do that. Okay, I'll give you that, sweetie. I'll give you that.
Okay, so then this isn't a fucking
I don't
doctor.
think they run and but you know what? Does people thank you? Does people pray for other people putting their hands on when they lay hands on them? At
Yes.
church, they do. Thank you.
Yeah, but they don't do
you.
it with magical light emanating from their palms while they wear Jesus clothes.
That's where the spiritual part comes in. You, good grief! Oh man!
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I know you think you know everything about every subject.
So spiritually,
and you're right about everything.
they're emanating the
and
light from their hands. Spiritually,
It
they're
is a
wearing the
spiritual
white
thing.
and red garments. Spiritually, they're Jesus Christ. So when you pray for people,
No,
spiritually, you're Jesus
spiritually,
Christ.
he's not, because guess what? The Pope's the only one that tries to elevate himself above God, not Trump. Trump said who God is, and that's Jesus Christ, and he never puts himself there above God, okay?
The Pope
He
doesn't
even
try
said
to
it.
elevate himself above
Oh,
God
yes, he
any
does.
more
Oh,
than
yes, he
Peter
does.
tried to elevate himself above God
yes,
in
he
accordance
does.
with Catholic theology. You're wrong. But that
No,
aside,
you're wrong.
Donald Trump elevated himself to be
Okay.
God.
Oh, hey, I want you to get a picture of where the Pope stands in the Vatican.
Pope
What is he standing in
stands.
front of? What does he stand in front of? He stands in front of a freaking snake. Do you see the snake eyes, buddy? Yeah, yeah. And who does the snake represent?
Snake eyes, buddy.
Who
The snake
does the
eyes,
snake
buddy.
represent there, buddy? The freaking serpent, Satan. You, dude. Let me get that for you. Let me get that picture for you, buddy. You like pulling pictures up, don't you?
So Catholic theology does not dictate that the Pope is a
Oh yes,
is
yes.
a
he
symbol
elevates
of
himself
elevation above
the
that
Lord.
of God.
Equal or above. Oh yes, yes. That's why I don't even go to Catholic church with my buddies anymore.
No.
And you don't bow down to anybody. Thank you guys. You do
So
not bow
all that
down
the papacy
to.
represents, all that the papacy represents, is a continuation of the succession of the line of Peter.
Do what?
All that the papacy represents inside of the Catholic Church would be a continuation of the line of succession from Peter.
Oh, I know you're reading that off of the screen, but let me tell you something. Why won't they
I
let
just
anybody
happen to be
listen?
kind of educated on the Catholic
Oh,
Church,
no,
my
you're
friend.
not. No, you're not. Go.
Oh, let's see who's more educated on the Catholic
Okay.
Church. Do you
No,
know what?
I don't
Do you know what the Great
You-
Schism
You
is?
probably are because you're studying it now.
Do you know
Because
what the
you
Great
had to get
Schism
your
is?
little
Do
talking
you know
word.
what the Great Schism is? If you're so educated on the Catholic Church, what is a Great
I
Schism?
never said I was.
Oh,
I never
okay,
said
yeah.
I was.
Pipe down. That's
I'm
what I thought.
learning though. Okay.
Pipe down. That's what I thought.
Anyway, I'm learning. But anyway, I know you don't bow down to statutes like they do in the Catholic Church. I know you don't stand in the front of a freaking serpent while you're trying to preach the word of God. Okay.
You said
Now,
bow down
do you
to
want to
statues.
see
What statues do they bow down to?
Mary
Oh, okay. So
and a statue
they're
of
not-
Jesus?
So they're not praying to Mary. They're praying
Oh.
through Mary on behalf.
Why do they have to pray through Mary when God says you can? He tore the veil from top to bottom when Jesus gave his life for us. So he said you don't have to go through anybody anymore. Come straight to me.
Yeah,
Children
so
of God.
Catholics do not believe that you have to pray through Mary. They just happen to also pray through Mary out of respect for the Mother of God in accordance with Catholic theology.
Yeah. And you all don't think that the Lord blesses me, and they were making fun of me earlier.
Fallacy.
See, I don't know anybody who has having cars just given to him, one, let alone two, and that's nice SUV. And guess what? I don't know anybody. I just prayed for. I was
Would
just
any
running a
would
little.
any
I
good
was running a little
Christian
short, and here's what I deposited.
Yeah, a bunch
just came in my
Joe,
mail.
quite frankly, I'm gonna
No
be honest.
clue.
You're
Just
saying
came in the
random
mail.
words.
Oh,
What
thank
the
you,
fuck
Jesus.
is she?
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for that. I do have to pay taxes on it, I guess. But see, I just pray and the Lord answers my prayers all the time, okay? But I don't abuse it, okay? Okay?
What?
Thank you. Just like I said, y'all say, oh, Jesus don't answer your prayers. He does all the time. All the time. When I need something, and I'm not going to abuse it, but when I need something, I just pray. And he always goes above and beyond. I didn't ask for this much to be deposited in my checking, but guess what? It showed up and boom. Because he's my Heavenly Father.
You think that Trump gives you money?
No, not Trump, you idiot. Jesus Christ.
But I
Trump
thought-
ain't Christ. What's wrong with you?
But I thought you thought Trump was Christ.
Oh, get out of here. Trump's only a human being. He's a sinner
Wait.
just like you and me.
But there's no way that he's like.
He is
look at
a
him.
sinner like you and me.
But he's healing people with his hands.
No,
His
he's
angels
not. No,
watch
he's
from
not.
above.
He's
He is.
trolling you.
Look at
He's
look
not
at
healing
this.
nobody.
No,
He's
Jill.
trolling you.
He's the president. We have to take him serious. This is he told us all that he is healing people with his hands.
Oh, you're gonna take it.
Wait,
he
Jill.
loves playing with you all like a little toy.
No, I
he
don't
loves
think
playing with your mind.
Listen, I think he was just being honest. He heals people with his hands as the angels. He's not a hero. He's God, Jill.
No, he's
I mean,
not.
look at-
And I wouldn't
Yes!
say that if I was
Wait,
you.
then what is
Shame
this?
on you.
If Trump is not
Shame
God,
on you.
if Trump is not God, then what is this?
Shame on you.
No,
It's him
answer my
trolling.
question, Jill.
It's-
If Trump
it's
is
him
not
trolling
God,
people like you idiot.
dude, I don't think he was
Conspiracy
trolling. I think he's
He
God,
loves-
dude. No,
he
Trump is
loves-
God. Trump
he
is.
loves trolling you. Conspiracy
Jill,
theories.
listen, you are
Yes.
one hateful son of a gun because you think that Donald Trump would ever lie to us. It's time for you to open your damn eyes and wake up to the fact that he is literally
Look
God.
at you.
If
Go
he
buy another
wasn't
one.
God, then
Go
why
buy
would he
another one,
post this
baby.
picture of him
Go
as
buy another
God?
one,
Tiny,
baby.
thank you for the Lily Leopard. Jill,
Go.
slow
Look.
down. Answer my question, Jill. If he's not God, then why would he say he's God?
Show me. Where did he say he was God? I want to
Look
hear
at
it out of
this.
his mouth. Pull it up. Pull
Look
it up.
at that.
I want to hear it. You want to go outside, baby?
Look
I
at
want to
that.
hear where. I want to hear. You want me? I can pull it up where he says,
And-
"I'm not God."
An image says
I want to hear.
1,000
I
words.
want to hear. You
And
want to hear where he says,
an
"I'm not God"?
image- Well,
You want to hear where he says, "I'm not God"? Do
Yeah.
you want to hear where he says, "I'm not God"?
yes.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, baby. I got
do.
you.
Because this would give us a timeline of when he became God. You are not MAGA because you think our president's a liar. He is an honest, truthful, transparent man. And he finally decided to reveal to us all that Jesus has returned through Trump in the flesh.
Rally.
Man and God are one. Man stands for Trump and God are one. You
God will serve.
doubt.
God, not
You
government.
doubt Donald J. Trump. You freak. Now you need to come to your senses because by God damn it, Trump is God.
You still need help from the boss.
The boss. Who's the boss? Listen, he's not done.
We need help. Yeah, we need help. It's all right to say. Now, they'll criticize me for that. How dare he say that? How dare he say that? No, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. Somebody
Okay,
said to
Joe,
me
this
the
is
other day, "You're the most
terrible.
famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
Oh, baby. He said, "Who's more famous?" He said, "Jesus Christ."
Well,
Run.
I'm not taking any chances.
I'm not taking any chances. So you think he would take a chance with
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ? That's
I'm
right.
not going to take any chances.
Jill, I'm going to cut you off there.
Yeah, because you're chicken. You're scared. You're eating your words now, ain't you, buddy? You got to run.
I'm
Hey, we
not
got a runner. We got a
Jill,
runner.
I'm not eating shit because
You are
what
eating
you
shit.
need to
You
come to
shit eater,
learn,
you are eating shit. You shit eater. You're eating a lot of it.
bro. That's mean, Jill. What the fuck?
I love
Don't
you,
call me
though.
a shit eater.
I love you, though.
No,
Anyway.
I'm trying to respond.
Okay, go ahead.
So clearly what you're forgetting about here is the fact that Donald Trump has become Jesus Christ. All right, you are clearly forgetting that Donald Trump, if he had not become Jesus Christ, maybe he wasn't literally Jesus Christ when he said that, but now he is because look, it's Donald Trump. That's Donald Christ. It's Donald Christ, Jill. You've lost your damn mind, Jill. If you don't know that's Donald Christ, then you've lost your damn mind. She got banned, dude. I know that was like funny or whatever, but that was actually like supposed to represent a legitimate like dialogue train, hopefully aimed at the conclusion of getting her to just understand how reprehensible that suggestion that Donald Trump was Christ truly is. Because that suggestion, you know, kind of comes with maybe some people, you know, like that hypothetical MAGA character we just pulled out, that would believe it. You know, like that's just another reason why it's reprehensible. Hi, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
I think you remember me from yesterday's streams, right?
I think I am going to kick you because I remember you being pretty insufferable. How about that?
Okay, fuck you.
Wait, why do you say fuck you?
Because, bro, why are you kicking me? Come on, man.
I tried to talk to you yesterday, and I remember that the conversation sucked. Listen, I'll give it another chance today. If it's the same, I'm just going to kick you. So why do you support Trump?
Because I just agree with his policies. But look, what I'm going to say is I agree with you on one thing, is that I don't like that post, all right? Like the whole Jesus post, that was a little idiotic, okay?
Okay, if it's idiotic to position himself as God, you know, days after the same day he attacked the Pope, praised Allah, and threatened to genocide 90 million people, you know, at what point does the idiocracy become too sufficient to appropriately run our country? Right? Like, I would say that this clearly represents that Donald Trump is not trustworthy in relationship to his mental faculties. He's old, he's senile, medical health professionals are indicating that he may have dementia, he's clearly incoherent. Every day he starts saying worse and worse things, and you know, before we know it, what's to come? I think that we need to get him out of office now before it gets even worse, because like, god damn it, you know, back in 2019 he certainly was terrible, but he wasn't calling himself God. He certainly was terrible, but he wasn't threatening to genocide 90 million people. He certainly was terrible, but he wasn't threatening the Pope. So we need to get him out of office before it gets worse.
Well, I heard somewhere along the lines he threatened the Pope, and that was wrong. But you know, I just feel like sometimes some of the choices he makes, you know, like posting some stuff, he needs to just get off his phone and just, you know, do some presidential work. You know what I mean?
You and me should be so happy that he is on his phone, because it is the only way we know what thoughts go through his head. And now that we know the thoughts that go through his head are just so incoherent, so nuts, so just insane, I think that tells us more than anything he definitely shouldn't be president.
Yeah, I mean, you have a right to that opinion, you know?
Why
I
do you
mean, my
disagree
opinion
with
is
the opinion?
Why I disagree with the opinion? I don't think he's completely senile. He's stupid, but he's not completely senile like Biden. That's just my opinion.
Did Biden
was,
ever threaten to genocide 90 million people?
No, but that's where I was trying to get. Okay, well, you know, but he did warn. I say it's more of a warning to Iran.
Okay, so he warned them that he was going to genocide them unless?
Well, I don't think he specifically said genocide, but he did say a warning to
I have a question.
Iran.
So if I tell you that I'm sitting on a 2x2 sturdy wood plank affixed to the ground with 4 legs with back support, am I telling you I'm sitting in a chair?
I'm sure, yeah.
Okay,
right?
so if Donald Trump tells you that he might kill a whole civilization, is he telling you that he might genocide Iran?
I don't think it's a might. That's a thing. It's a might, but it's not a definite.
I know, but we were agreeing that he said he might genocide Iran, right?
But the thing is that
No, I don't want
has
to.
not
But the thing is, I want a yes or no. Are we agreeing that he said he might genocide Iran?
Well, yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, I don't think people should step foot in the Oval Office if they threaten genocide.
Well, if they threaten, I mean, it's inappropriate. It's not formal in any sort of way.
How do you think the 90 million Iranians, men, women, and children, felt for the 4 hours?
Well, I do know that the
before
innocent
deadline?
civilians in Iran,
How did they feel? Dude,
support America and they want America's help.
I want you to legitimately answer my question. How did they feel?
Yes.
Okay. Think about all of the innocent people scrambling to go tell everybody that they love in their lives that they're going to miss them when they're gone because they might die tonight because the most powerful man alive who's already committed war crimes against their country and killed their kids is now threatening to genocide them. Kissing all their babies, their newborn children on their heads. Mothers just gave birth that day. Next thing they turn the TV on and now they see the most powerful man alive threatening to kill them and their newborn. Like, that type of behavior is just so inappropriate. It is beyond inappropriate. It's despicable.
Okay, then in your eyes, I could see that. That's wrong.
But what about your eyes? Like, can your eyes genuinely see how this is so despicable because of the state in which the Iranians were living in?
Yeah, I mean, all we want is just very well productive civilization in Iran.
Then why are we bombing the shit out of it and threatening?
It's hard because the policies.
If we wanted
Iran,
a productive civilization in Iran, then we would not be threatening to destroy all of their infrastructure. We would not be threatening to genocide them, and we would not be threatening to send them back to the Stone Ages. Those three things are incompatible with a productive civilization, and you know it.
Okay.
Which is why you have nothing to say.
Okay. Well, the thing is that J.D. Vance did say on the news, just hear me out. I just watched the news and he did say he wanted a more well-productive civilization, where people could just enjoy and just live life happily in Iran. And it's hard because the government there is just so corrupt. Like, they just want to fight, kill, and it's sad, really. I mean, I feel bad for the Iranian civilizations, I want peace for them too.
J.D. Vance is lying, and I can prove it. The way I could prove it is by just simply pointing out the fact that Donald Trump said that all objectives have been achieved and regime change has been met, and now they're negotiating with much more moderate, productive voices, even though the IRGC is still in control, is still oppressing the people, and no genuine objectives have been met for the betterment of the people.
Okay. Do you have proof on the lies by any chance?
Yeah, the proof is a statement where Donald Trump said that all objectives have been met and that we've done regime change, which would be the same statement that he threatened to genocide them in.
Okay. I mean, do you have video proof of that, or?
It's a screenshot of the statement.
Can I see the screenshot?
Yeah, let's see if I have it saved.
All right.
Trump threatens. All right, everybody, just give me one moment here. Oh yeah, here it is. Save image as. Downloads. Trump threat. It's going to pull this up as an image and then read it together. Center on scene. Awesome. Perfect. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? That's where he claims total and complete regime change.
Okay, so, I mean, basically from what I could see and read off there for a split second, it just seems like he's trying to say, hopefully things can come out better, hopefully they can come to
negotiate. You asked me for a source where he claimed regime change. I gave you a source where he claimed regime change, even though they did not actually regime change.
Yeah, but he might have said those things, but he wanted things to change for the better.
Okay, was that a lie when he said that they've achieved regime change?
I believe so. I really don't know at that point because like I said, I cut off the news just to
Is
get
the
a word,
IRGC still in charge of Iran?
I believe so.
Then there wasn't regime change, right?
Yeah.
Then Trump lied, right?
I guess so, yeah.
That's why we know that he doesn't want to do things for the betterment of the people, because getting the IRGC out may be for the betterment of the people, right? From your perspective, that's what your argument is. That's what Trump's argument is. But he hasn't gotten the IRGC out, and he's just lying, claiming that he has by falsely claiming regime change.
I'm sure this stuff does take time, though. I'm sure this stuff does take time.
Dude, he said he did it.
I mean, I don't know why he said he did it, but...
Because he's not going to do it in the future. This is him leaving empty-handed with no legitimate objectives being met, okay? And then claiming that legitimate objectives have been met, which is a lie.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean... I say like it could happen in the future. We just never know, man. You know?
This is why I kicked you yesterday, because you're just unable to engage in legitimate argumentation, and you just reduce yourself back to straight cope. Like, you're fucking coping right now. It will not happen in the future, or else Donald Trump wouldn't have claimed it now. He would wait to claim it in the future when it actually happens.
Okay. Any questions, I guess, or?
No.
All right.
Moving on to the next guest. We got Jeff loading up in here. Oh, what a crazy day it's been. Only up inside of that queue if you happen to be MAGA, you guys. If you do want to support me and support the stream, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and right there at the top of the phone screen, Dean Withers without the E. Jeff, do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Oh, damn, dude. I kind of thought that your account was a troll.
Oh, no, I don't get on there and try to follow a lot of people.
Okay.
I'm not a troll, brother.
So your post says that Obama sent Iran $400 million in cash pallets. Did you know that that's just straight misinformation?
Well, of course you're going to say that.
Well, because I know the facts and you don't. The $400 million that you got to disconnect me from Bluetooth, man. There's an echo.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I'm using my Bluetooth on my car. Hang on a second. Is that okay? Will you hang on a minute?
Yeah, you're good.
Hang on a minute.
Just swipe down from the top of your phone screen if you're on a phone. If you're on an iPhone, then click the icon of the Bluetooth.
Can you hear me now?
Test? Yeah. So anyways, to get back to what I was saying. So it is a lie that Obama sent Iran $400 million on cash pallets. Because in all reality, when we lifted sanctions on Iran, which is something Donald Trump is saying he might do today, again, we gave them access to their sanctioned bank accounts of their money in South Korea, which amounted to $400 million. So no money to the tune of $400 million was sent from America to Iran. We just simply gave them access to their own bank account that we had cut the access off to because of sanctions that were then lifted.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Okay. Now, this is what deters me from the Democrats, because I go back and see a lot of videos back, because Schumer's been around forever. Talking about Iran. Hillary said she would obliterate Iran if she become president. Obama said he would do whatever it takes to protect American interests from Iran.
And he struck
this goes back, and they have killed Americans before when they bombed Libya.
Okay.
I mean, not Libya, Syria.
And we've killed Iranians before when a couple of them, alongside their proxies, went into Afghanistan and Iraq. Are you actively driving?
No, I just had to roll my window up. Well, that's the thing, though. See, I mean, this has been going on forever. So it wouldn't have bothered me if Obama attacked them or Hillary attacked them. It didn't matter. It wouldn't matter to me now. It should have been done a long time ago.
What did we achieve by attacking them?
What did we achieve?
Yeah, Donald Trump said all objectives have been met. Name one.
Well, not their nuclear program. That's for one.
Lie.
We knocked out a lot of their, maybe not all of it.
Lie.
But
the nuclear program, according to Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, was completely obliterated months before February 28th when Donald Trump started this war. What objectives have been met since February 28th?
Objectives.
Yes.
Well, what do you think? What do you think? You think we just did it for the heck of it?
Yeah, no objectives have been met.
So
Prove
what
me
if
wrong by
Obama?
naming
What if
one.
Obama did it? Or
No, what if
or another
Obama
of them did?
answered the question? Here's one really good argument for why
Yeah.
what Donald Trump is doing in Iran is terrible. First and foremost, it has only resulted in death. Death of American servicemen and women, death of 160 elementary school girls, death of 2,200 innocent civilians, destruction of civilian infrastructure, and it has not resulted in the achievement of any genuine objectives. None.
So you don't think
No,
none of their
zero.
military has been depleted?
Depleting the military of the IRGC does not matter if we are going to turn around and allow the sanctions on the IRGC to be lifted, so then they have more economic power to rebuild. And that's exactly what's happening.
See, that's what I don't understand it, because I mean I understand it, but I still back it, because they called death to America. They've killed us in the past. Even Kamala said there was blood on her hands. Didn't she say that?
Do you think that Iran would be justified in like dropping ballistic missiles on America because Donald Trump said that he might genocide all Iranians?
What's the difference between obliterating and genocide?
Obliterating and well, if you threaten to
what's the difference?
If you threaten to obliterate the Iranian civilization, you are threatening genocide.
Well, that's what Hillary said.
Okay, I don't know what Hillary said, but we're not here.
I'm telling you what she said. I heard her say it.
We're not here to litigate anything Hillary said because we're not talking about
course
Hillary.
not.
She's irrelevant.
Of course not.
Yes, of course not, because we're talking about Trump.
I understand that, and I support it 100%.
As far as I'm concerned, right? Like the nearest proxy that could maybe be relevant to this conversation is what the relevant alternative to Trump would be, which would be Kamala Harris. So if it's not Kamala Harris, then it's not relevant. Okay, right? Who
you
gives
know
a
what she
fuck
said about
what she did
Iran?
or she didn't say? Before
She
you
said
tell me, I
Iran.
want you to answer the question that I asked you. I'm giving you a compelling argument
I'm sorry. Go
here,
ahead.
and you won't
I'm sorry,
respond
bud.
to
Go
it.
ahead.
The reason why the war in Iran is something that you should not support is because it's only resulted in the loss of life of Americans and Iranians. It has only resulted in maybe giving Iran more power to get the Strait of Hormuz reopened, i.e. lifting sanctions. And it has resulted in the largest one-month spike in the price of oil since the Vietnam War in 1967. There has been genuinely zero objectives achieved. And we know that there's not going to be more objectives achieved in the future because Donald Trump has already claimed that that we have met all of our objectives and we have achieved complete and total regime change. That's why you should not support the war in Iran. Tell me why I'm wrong. Okay? And telling me why I'm wrong does not mean you mention out of context comments from Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris. It means you refuting the substance of the claim that I made in relation to why this war sucks.
Okay. I see your point there. Okay. But my thing is, this should have been done a long time ago.
What was
Regardless
done?
of it.
You said this should have been done.
Attacking them.
Why?
Because they've been the leader of terrorists for years.
Okay.
They've killed Americans.
Does our attacks change that? No. No, it doesn't.
You have a good way
the
of turning-
IRGC still exists. The Iranian people are still oppressed, but now we just have higher gas prices, thousands of dead Iranians, and a couple dead American servicemen and women. And a more powerful IRGC in the future because now Donald Trump is willing to lift sanctions on them without achieving any type of a peace agreement. So I want you to tell me.
Well, what kind of a peace agreement do you think they were supposed to do? It's not like they went
the
over there and tried to do
JCPOA
anything.
that Donald Trump pulled us out of because he's a shithead. Maybe that peace agreement that he destroyed, that prevented them from building nuclear weapons, that he pulled us out of. Do you know Donald Trump actually greenlit the quote-unquote largest state sponsor of terrorism, as you pointed out, to build nukes? Why is that not a red line, bud?
Oh, so you're saying he allowed them to do that?
Yes, because he pulled us outside of the JCPOA. Yes.
So you'd rather believe a terrorist organization regime than believe your own people?
No, I am believing my own people.
I don't believe nothing them people
Shut
say.
up.
Period. Sorry.
The source for this claim is not the IRGC. It's literally Trump. He announced when he pulled us outside of the JCPOA?
Yeah.
Okay, so my source isn't the IRGC.
Yeah.
So then why did you say my source is the IRGC?
You got me. Man, you're good. You're good. I tell you what, you're very, very smart and very good. You got me turned around.
I'll catch you up. I claim that Donald Trump greenlit Iran to build nuclear weapons because Donald Trump pulled us outside of the peace agreement that we had with Iran that prevented them from building nuclear weapons. And then you said, Dean, why do you believe the IRGC? And then I said, I believe that claim because Donald Trump announced us pulling out of the JCPOA, not because the IRGC said Trump was pulling out of the JCPOA.
Well, why didn't Biden and Harris do it back again then?
Why aren't you responding to my claim? I'll talk about Biden and Harris and peace agreements under Biden and Harris in relation to Iran after you could please respond to my claim. But the predominant reason is because Iran didn't trust us anymore because we proved ourselves to be unreliable. But do you agree now that Donald Trump greenlit Iran to build nukes?
No.
Okay. Why?
I just don't believe that.
So you
I don't believe any of our presidents, regardless of Democrat, would do that.
Do you believe that Donald Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA, which prevented them from building nukes?
I believe they were lying about it the whole time.
Well,
they've been lying about it forever. That's why every president has said that.
We weren't reliant on Iran's word of mouth to believe that they weren't building nukes. We had 24/7 access to surveillance over all of their enrichment sites, plus 300 in-person visits per year per site. Plus, at the beginning of the agreement, we ensured that they either destroyed or sold all of their enriched uranium. Plus, at the beginning of the agreement, we ensured that they completely destructed all enrichment mechanics in which would be required to enrich it to the extent to build nukes. We know that they weren't building nukes. We know that they weren't lying because we independently verified it through the IAEA.
Okay, so he just decided just to go over and blow people up for the hell of it.
Yes, he lied, even in giving us the reason why he started the war. He said he started the war over an imminent nuclear threat, but the Office of National Intelligence and the director of the National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified to Congress and admitted that they were not an imminent nuclear threat.
Well, I guess what we'll do is then we'll just turn back and forget what everybody's ever said and just disregard it and let it continue to go on forever and ever.
Nothing
and let them
that anybody
it's not just about that.
Is relevant to the 2 points I want you to address. The 2 arguments that I've made that I want you to defeat or concede to is A, Donald Trump lied about the reason why he started the war. They are not an imminent nuclear threat because that's what the Director of National Intelligence said in Congress. And B, Donald Trump greenlit Iran into building nuclear weapons by pulling us outside of the denuclearization agreement we had with them, in which we had great confidence in they were abiding by and not building nuclear weapons.
Okay.
I want you to either concede to those 2 arguments or give a counter argument against them.
Well, the reason I can't counter argument is because I still don't believe it.
What exactly do you not believe?
I don't believe that they were. I don't believe that they were ever do anything that they say.
Okay, so you believe that they were building nukes even when we were in the denuclearization agreement with them, right?
Yep, I still believe it.
Do you believe
because
Trump?
Because they
do
they
you
say
believe Trump?
Yes.
Okay, so Trump affirmed that they were honoring the agreement in his first term.
Yeah, he may have pulled it out of it, but that was 4 years ago.
No, before he pulled us out of it, he affirmed and signed off on the fact from the IAEA that they were honoring the JCPOA and not building nukes.
Okay. That was his first term, correct?
Right. So do you believe him?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you believe that they weren't building nukes when the JCPOA was in place.
I believe it. I don't believe it now.
Well, because the
they could have
JCPOA
gotten
was killed in
back then.
2019, which is why I say Donald Trump greenlit them to build nukes. Because as soon as Donald Trump pulled us out of the agreement that stopped them from building nukes, what did they do? They started enriching their uranium again.
Okay, so why didn't if he done it and they started renting, why didn't Biden and Harris do something about it then?
I've already told you, it's because Iran didn't fucking trust America. And Biden was doing everything in his power to help rebuild that trust. Like when Israel gave us intelligence, false intelligence, by the way, and then asked us to bomb the shit out of Hezbollah, he said no, right? So he was working on rebuilding that trust. He was doing his best, dude, but it was kind of hard after, because he walked into office a year and a half after Trump pulled us out. But stop pivoting to Biden. Biden has nothing to do with this dialogue. Now that you agree that Iran was not building nukes when the denuclearization agreement was in place, and that they started building nukes after Donald Trump pulled us out of the denuclearization agreement, you got me back on the Bluetooth.
Yeah, my dabbling phone's about to die. Hang on 1 second. Please hang on. I'm sorry. Hang on, please.
You're good.
No, you're good.
Because I want to finish this conversation.
I'm just annoyed. It's been a long day. You are being more respectful than most, though, Jeff. In the meantime, guys, make sure that you're double tapping on that phone screen. Maybe there's a couple people I could thank real quick. Karamos, thank you for the $10 on Super Chat, who says, every time you let Jill talk, you lower the general IQ of everybody listening. Please perm ban her. Yeah, look, I just brought Jill up to respond to that one specific topic, but generally we have a rule of thumb, which is no Jill. On PayPal, Jessica, thank you for the $10, who says, I love when uneducated MAGA Dean makes an appearance. Love you, Dean. Love you too, Jessica. Appreciate you for the $10. Yeah, dude ran. Holy cow. JJ, thank you so much for the $24 donation, who says, Jill is nuts. I don't know if you read my last message, but I urge you to take a look at the Machiavelli album cover and compare it to this blasphemy of an image on live. Trump didn't attempt to share the intent of the image, whereas Tupac did. Well, I appreciate you so much for the $24, JJ. I appreciate you so much. Show some love to JJ down below. Thank you, man. Thank you, JJ. Christopher, thank you for the $15, who says, hang on, so if she believes Trump is hiding Epstein, then is Trump hiding Epstein? Christopher, that must have been in reference to some crazy shit Jill said. I'm not going to lie, I don't know it. But I appreciate you, Christopher. Show some love to Christopher down below. Hey, do you support Trump? Do you support Trump? Do you support Trump?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, do you support Trump?
I do.
Oh, all right. Let me finish thanking a couple donors. Hang tight. Michael, thank you so much for the $24. I appreciate you, man. Show some love to Michael. Michael says, if Jill's grandkids are listening, for the love of God, please change your grandma's Wi-Fi password. Oh, I know, right? God damn it. That'd be an act of patriotism to this country. Olivia, thank you so much for the $10 as well. You says, I just wanted to say from me and my friends, you're doing God's work. We admire everything that you do and stand for, from Olivia, Robin, and Courtney. Hey, Olivia, Robin, and Courtney, thank you, you guys. I hope that you're still watching. And then Jacob, thank you for the $5. Janaea, thank you so much for the $10. And then Karen, thank you for the $10 as well, saying that Jill's a member of a cult. Jill is crazy. Undoubtedly insane. Thank you guys for the love. We're all caught up on PayPal. Let's get caught up on Venmo. Angel, thank you for the $5. Mary, thank you for the $5. Good to see you, by the way, Mary. Kate, thank you for the $8, who says appreciate what you do. Thank you, Kate. Preston, thank you for the $5. Mary, thank you for another $10. I just read that message, Mary. I'm so happy that what we do here helps you out, and that you're finding that in yourself. That's so cool. Sarah, thank you for the $5. And then Ish, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. He says, for all the people that are saying that Donald Trump is trolling, joke, satire, and trolling all require intention and meaning, so the blasphemy is still the same. It would absolutely be the same. You can't mock God, even if you are joking. Mary, thank you for the $5. That is, of course, in accordance with Christian theology. Alexia, thank you for the $5. Alexis, thank you for the $15. She says, Jill sounds like she has a total of one brain cell in her head. Right, Alexis? I know. Thank you for the $15. Jonathan, thank you for the $10. I appreciate you, Jonathan. And then Ivy, thank you for the $12. Who says, Dean, I beg you, get rid of Jill. Also, I thought you might find this funny, but there's a conspiracy theory that Trump is actually the Antichrist. Sounds more likely. Oh, definitely. Don't worry, Ivy. We got rid of Jill a long time ago, but I'm sure you know that by now. Sean, thank you so much for the $25 donation. I appreciate you, Sean. And I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed the debate with Jill. You're probably the only one of us who thought positively about it. Amy, thank you for the $10, who says the pure hatred that Jill carries in her heart must be hard on her. Yeah, I imagine that makes living a little bit rough when every moment of your life is just so filled with hate and animosity. Caitlin, that's Caitlin with a C, thank you for the $20 donation, who says, how are you doing this? Caitlin, some days I don't know, and today is one of those days because I lost my temper a long time ago. Elena, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much, Elena. And then, of course, Trisha, thank you for the 5. Bryce, thank you for the 14, who says... Trump no longer thinks that he is king. He thinks he's the king of kings. I said that on Twitter. Based. So true. Yeah, we said Trump thinks he's king. Trump says he thinks he's God. Stevie, thank you so much for the $20 donation, who says, here's $20 for a mental health retreat. Thank you for dealing with all these difficult Trump supporters. Thank you, Stevie. I want to see 200 CVW samples. Seriously, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And with that, we're all caught up. If you guys do want to support me, support the stream and what we do here, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and right there, Dean Withers, without the E, Sierra, ew. Ew is how I feel when somebody tells me they support Trump.
Didn't you used to support Trump?
When I was 14 and before J6, yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
21. Why do you ask?
I don't know. You said 14 and January 6th. I don't know. It just seems like you were young. I am not young. However, 16, I do support
14
Trump.
To 16.
I live near the border, so I definitely support Trump.
Why is that?
So when Biden was in office, it got to the point where we would have a car chase in our city every single day. And that would be because Border Patrol was not active. They were not being funded. Their checkpoints were widely open, no one working there.
Yeah,
and our
that's all
local
just
sheriff's
a
department.
lie, by the way, but whatever.
I mean, I drive through them every day.
Yeah, I know. But if you were to go to ice.gov/statistics, you'll actually see that there's more deportations of undocumented immigrants with criminal records and the end of the Biden-Harris administration compared to the start of the Trump admin. Not to mention that they actually did kind of fund CBP and ICE a shit ton of money. I don't know. I'm a little bit iffy on it, but you know, as far as it serves to your argument, you should love it. My source there would be the Guttmacher Institute and, of course, the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm not really talking about deportations. I'm talking about the actions or the activity at the border. So our borders used to be lined with people, and now there's like no one there. There's no one lining the borders because they don't think they have a free pass to just come in.
Oh, so you're telling me that Border Patrol is actually much more active under Biden?
I don't even think it has to do with Biden. I'm saying that since Trump is in office, they don't see it as an open door anymore. So
I know. I know. Yeah, they're scared
border.
away. They're scared away by Trump violating the constitutional, human, and natural inalienable rights of the undocumented immigrants here. Yes, Sierra. When Donald Trump tells ICE to racially profile black and brown people, when he deports people with no due process to be tortured overseas, when he endorses the murder and execution of protesters standing up for the rights of immigrants, and then when he takes the rights away from immigrants by attempting to unconstitutionally reclassify the children born here to parents that are undocumented as undocumented immigrants themselves, yes, it does scare new entry away, but we shouldn't support it because it is fascist. It is authoritarian. It is human rights abuse. It is ugly, gross, and disgusting because they are people too. And by the way, the Constitution is on my side here, not yours.
I mean, you didn't ask me if I support the Constitution. You asked me if I support Trump. And I do. I support a strong leader, and I support strong borders, and I support a wall.
Do you support the Constitution,
and I support
Sarah?
not having an open door policy. And then I definitely support leaving without due process if you didn't come in with it.
Okay, so you don't think undocumented immigrants have a constitutional right to due process?
I don't think they deserve it.
Oh, they don't deserve it. So you're okay with Donald Trump infringing on the Constitution to get him out?
I'm saying that I support what he's doing.
Which would be infringing on the Constitution to get them out, right? You don't think they deserve due process? You don't think there's any issue with him infringing on that right to deport them? Gotta get a direct yes or no.
I mean, you can. I don't think he's infringing on that. You can call due process whatever you want.
You just said
what we
that
wanted
you
to
don't
defend
think
it on today.
You just said that you don't think they deserve due process going out. After I brought up like an example of 300 Venezuelan immigrants deported with no due process.
If they
You just
don't have
stand
it
on your
coming in.
convictions. Yeah, I know. Undocumented.
If they don't have it coming
no
in.
due process coming in. So
Just put 'em
stand
back.
on it. Are you okay with Donald Trump deporting undocumented immigrants without due process, even though they have a constitutional claim to due process?
If they came in illegally.
Okay, so you are okay with him deporting them with no due process. So you want Trump to be a dictator because you want him to be above the Constitution.
I want to not sit here and give people, criminals, I don't want to waste our time sending them back to the country that they came from.
On criminals? Trump is a criminal and you want him to run the country. Very hypocritical.
No, what's hypocritical is taking
Not
him to
the
court
fact that you just told me that you wanted to like infringe on the constitutional rights of people because
people
they're
have done
criminals,
that
but,
they
you know,
let go.
Make another criminal president.
No, the things that they charged him with, other people have done.
Okay, have other people done undocumented entry?
Sure, they do it every day. I'm
therefore
cleaning
it
up
doesn't
their
matter.
mess.
Yeah, therefore it doesn't matter because other people.
It
have
does
done
matter.
Oh, okay. Wait. Well, you just tried to argue that Trump's felonies don't matter because other people have done them.
I'm saying that the felonies brought against him were for political reasons.
No, so you.
It's not because it was right or wrong.
So he wasn't actually guilty.
The moral ground of right or wrong was not the reason it was
But
done.
was he
it was
actually
just done
guilty
for
of them?
political reasons.
Because if your argument is he was actually guilty of them, but the only reason why that criminal charge was brought against him was because of political reasons, I'll just say the same thing about many undocumented immigrants who have been here for like 30 fucking years, have built a life, paid taxes, contribute to society, and now they're getting sent to fucking Guantanamo.
Why are they getting
because
sent
I can't
there?
pronounce that word, or getting tortured in CCUT for political reasons. So, right? So we shouldn't support
Why
them
are they
because it's
getting
for
sent
political
there?
reasons. Because we have a heinous, reckless president who upholds anti-American ideals of mass deportation, even if it means human rights abuse, the downfall of and demise of our own country, including its economy, and the separation of families, and just mask off authoritarianism and cruelty. That's why.
They are deported if they break the agreement upon which they came. So if they commit a crime while they're here, they don't do what they're supposed to do, then they're deported.
Once again, you said they're deported because they broke the law. So I think that the state has an obligation to only enforce law, which is for the benefit of the state. Mass deportation is not for the benefit of the state, so I don't think we should enforce it. I think that we should change the law and offer undocumented immigrants that are not guilty of bad crimes a pathway to residency or citizenship. But you continue to say that we need to enforce the law, but then you support Trump even though a court determined he raped a woman. You keep on saying that we need to enforce the law.
They didn't determine he raped a woman.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
They did.
No, they didn't. The legal definition, they did not say that. He did not. He did not have sex with her.
Definition.
No, he was not convicted of rape in civil court.
Does your definition of rape include the forceful penetration of a woman's vagina with a man's fingers? Your definition.
No. No.
The fuck?
No, and honestly, why would she go in that
hell?
Why would she go in a dressing room with him?
Yeah. Stop victim blaming.
That's so weird.
Did you know that married women who love a man so much they vowed to spend the rest of their life with him could get raped in marriage? Now you're saying this woman, who, you know, probably on some level was a little bit into Trump because she did invite him in the dressing room to try and lingerie, quote unquote, deserved to have her vagina violated. Listen, this is victim blaming logic, and it is exactly what led to generations of married women getting raped because, oh, if they didn't want to have sex with a man, then why would they marry him? That's the issue. That's the issue.
She made it up.
Consent is so complex, and you could consent to going on a date with a dude, but that doesn't mean you want to have sex with him. You could consent to kissing a man. That doesn't mean that your body is his. You could consent to marrying a man, and that doesn't mean that your vagina is an extension of his penis whenever he wants it to be. So why did he go in the dress? Why did she invite him in the dressing room? An invitation to go inside of a room is not an invitation for total autonomy and control over one's body. But we need to go back to the crazy thing you said earlier, because you said Your definition of rape doesn't include the penetration of a woman's vagina with a man's finger. What a gross thing to say, you freak. What a gross thing to say. Despicable, and I mean it. Why would you not consider the penetration of a woman's vagina rape?
Sorry, you muted me.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. If we're going to define that as rape, that's just going to diminish the actual rapes that occur.
So what's actual rape?
When someone forcefully sticks their penis inside of you.
What's the difference between having a man forcefully stick his penis inside of you and having a man
It's
forcefully
huge.
stick his fingers inside of you?
As a woman, an owner of a female body, it's huge.
What is it?
I'm not going to diminish what that means.
What's the difference?
By now saying all of this is included.
What's the difference? In both scenarios, your body is being forcefully intruded upon by an unknown member of another person in which you do not consent to. What's the difference?
I think it's huge.
Then tell me what it is.
STIs, pregnancy.
Oh, wait. So you're telling me that if a woman is raped by a man and she doesn't get pregnant and she doesn't get an STI, then it's not actually rape?
No, I'm saying the risks involved.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if a man gets an STI test and is also infertile prior to raping a woman, then rapes a woman, that's not actually rape?
You wouldn't know that in the moment.
Oh, okay. So assuming that she did know it, it's not actually rape?
I just know that as a female, if a man were penetrating me with
assuming that she did know it, would it still be rape?
penis and it more.
Answer my question. Assuming that she did know it, would it still be rape?
What are you saying? Which, if she didn't know what?
Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you. So I asked you why you don't think it's rape for a woman to have her vagina forcefully penetrated by a man's fingers compared to his penis. And then you responded the differences. In one scenario, there's the introduction of a possibility of pregnancy and STIs. Meanwhile, in the other scenario, there's not the introduction of a possibility of pregnancy and STIs. So in other words, all that you're telling me here is a reason why forceful penetration of the sense of fingers is not rape is because when you forcefully penetrate a vagina with your fingers, you do not introduce the possibility of STIs and pregnancy. So if we were to account for that possibility in the circumstance of a rape with a penis, i.e. let's assume that you have a man and a woman that know each other very well. The man today, when he got an STI test, brings it home, shows it to the woman, and that woman also knows that man is completely infertile. He had ball cancer, now he doesn't have balls. And then if that man were to forcefully insert his penis into her vagina, would that be rape, even though both parties know there is a 0% likelihood of pregnancy or STIs?
That is not what I said. I said that it is not considered rape because I am not going to diminish what I consider actual rape with.
But then I asked you what you consider actual rape, and you said
there's
penetration
many
of a
things.
penis.
There's many
and then I
things.
asked you for the relevant difference between the penetration of a penis and fingers, and then you said
And I
the
list
difference
two and
was
you
the
attacked me.
likelihood of pregnancy and STIs. Then I counted for those likelihoods in the circumstance of penile penetration through rape.
There's
and
many things.
Now I want you to answer. Okay, so what are the other ones? What are the other variables?
They involve his genitals. He has to be physically on top of her to do that. Like hands, I can push a hand away.
So
do you know how hard it is to push a dick out of you?
I mean, for what what E. Jean Carroll testified to is the fact that she was being physically held down by his upper body and
I
other
think
arm
she's
and hand
lying.
while she was being forcefully penetrated by his fingers. Also, by the way, not all circumstances of rape include being physically held down. Do not diminish circumstances of rape in which occur because of forced coercion, because of date raping, because of alcohol, so on and so forth. That may not necessarily include forcefully being held down. It is still absolutely rape.
I can agree that fingering someone, if they tell you no and you're doing that, I can consider that sexual assault. I'm not going to diminish actual rape.
So then what's the
But
difference?
at the same
You've yet to
time-
tell me the difference between rape and forcefully penetrating somebody's vagina with your fingers. You've yet to tell me the difference. The first difference you tried to tell me was the likelihood of pregnancy and STIs. But then when we accounted for that with penile rape, you still said it's rape. And then you went on to say that, well, when you're being penetrated with a penis, it's harder to get out of that scenario because then you could be forcefully held down with both arms. Okay, not all circumstances of rape include being forcefully held down, and many circumstances of being raped with fingers also include being forcefully held down. So you've yet to give me the difference and the distinction between rape and being forcefully penetrated with a man's fingers.
So what was the legal definition?
The legal definition is the one that you're sharing, the forceful penetration of a vagina with a penis.
And that's how I see it. And I don't want to diminish that by calling
my
fingering
counter
or rape.
everything that I'm saying right now is exactly why New York changed their definition to account for fingers and other objects used for penetration in 2023, and the same reason why that same thing is true in 38 other states. Because you cannot articulate the difference between rape as you define it with a penis and rape as I define it with fingers. There's no distinction. If there is a distinction, then name it. Because so far, every distinction you've tried to name has failed.
Okay. For this purpose, the distinction is the legal definition. He was not convicted of rape.
Perfect. If the distinction is the legal definition, then how many enslaved individuals in the American South do you think were raped? Is that number above 0?
I'm sure.
How many white people prior to the Civil War were convicted of raping an enslaved individual? That number.
I have no idea.
0.
Why are we talking about that period of time?
Because you just said that you use the legal definition of rape to determine what is rape, and you're disputing me calling Trump a rapist because that's not what he was convicted of. No one was convicted of raping enslaved individuals prior to the Civil War. Therefore, in accordance with your logic, nobody raped an enslaved individual prior to the Civil War. But that's insane, which then, of course, disputes your logic.
No, for the purpose of this argument, though, he is not a convicted rapist.
So you just uphold this logic as it relates exclusively to Trump, but not as it relate to anybody else. What that tells me is that you special plea for Trump, and you're willing to forgo your cognitive faculties, your understanding of sexual violence, and more so your understanding of rape, just to make a rapist seem like he's not a rapist, because you're condemning people who use that word. It's shitty. It's low IQ. It's harmful, it's embarrassing, and it's failed the test of logic and reason.
Okay. I already told you the reason why I don't define it. And I said because it diminishes what actual rape is.
What specifically
now, regardless of
does
whether
it
or not,
diminish?
do I get to respond?
Yeah,
if
sure,
you
I guess,
don't define
whatever.
it that way, if you don't define it that way, that's fine. You don't define it the way. But in this discussion, you said he is a convicted rapist, and he is not. And when it comes to E. Carroll, I think she's lying. 30 years later, after the man is pregnant, now you want to bring it up? There's nothing more feminine than that. Come on now. He's in a position of power. She's being funded by a liberal. And now, 30 years later, she wants to say that she was essayed by him after she brought him into a dressing room with her. Can you imagine if we actually go ahead with that? How many women out there can just take down anyone they don't like?
The man's... Wait, Trump's pregnant?
I didn't say he's pregnant.
What did you say?
Which I said so much.
Okay. Then you said that it was feminine to try to hold your rapist accountable 30 years later? What?
I'm saying that 30 years after this supposed incident occurred...
Thing?
I've never said that he is a woman or that he's pregnant.
Wait, what's feminine? You said something's feminine. What's feminine?
I'm not talking about Trump.
Okay.
I'm talking about women accusing men of power of whatever offense they want to accuse him of 30 years later while you're being funded by a liberal who would love to take him down.
Okay, so Reid Hoffman started a fund for victims of rape that included more people than just E. Jean Carroll. W. Reid Hoffman. That's the way billionaires are supposed to spend their money. 10 out of 10. Second of all, the 62% of women who will get raped in their lifetimes never report it to the authorities at all. We shouldn't victim blame one that waited 30 years. Third of all, the fact that she was able to prove it after 30 years increases the likelihood that she was telling the truth, because we all know all crimes, including rape, get harder to prove the more time passes, and the fact she was able to prove it after 30 years proves the evidence was damning. Fourth of all, you continue to sit here and tell me that I can't call what happened to her rape because it diminishes the experiences of real rape victims. It doesn't diminish shit, because it is the experience of a real rape victim. You were unable to point out the experience in which is mutually exclusive to women that are raped by penises that women who are raped by fingers don't have.
Are you speaking on behalf of women?
You know what? I'm speaking on behalf of common sense.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that if I were in a nightclub and somebody is groping me, and I would make a huge distinction between that and him taking me behind the nightclub and penetrating me with his genitals.
If he took you behind
There'd
the
be a
nightclub,
huge distinction for
if he
me.
took you behind the nightclub and penetrated you with his fingers, what would be the difference?
Did I go with him?
Hopefully, it wouldn't matter if you went with him or not, because going.
Did he
with a
try?
man-
Did he stop when I asked
What-
him to stop?
Okay, first and foremost, going somewhere with a man doesn't mean that man owns your body. And
But if you're flirting with him, he may think you want to make out with him and do stuff like that. Are you telling me that every single time you've been with a woman, you ask her for everything you do?
I have never thought I had permission to have sex with a woman because she was flirting with me.
Okay, but I have made out with a man, and he has put his hands on my body. He has put his hands inside of me. No time was I like, "Whoa, dude, you didn't ask me to do that." Like, come on now.
So
we see it on TV
are
all
you
the
just-
time.
Are you just claiming that women don't have self-ownership of their vaginas, and that it's just impossible for a man to, like, unconsensually penetrate a woman's vagina, and that if you're a woman and you're in a club and you follow a man, if you're a woman and you're in a club and you flirt with a man or even kiss a man, that now all of a sudden, if that man forcefully penetrates your vagina, it's your fault? Like, you are just a despicable...
Are you saying every man that
Can I just be
wasn't
honest?
asked
Quite
permission
frankly, be
is
quiet.
a rapist?
What I'm going to say is every person that thinks like you is a dumbass. Why? Because you are evil. And I say that, and I mean it. It is evil to suggest that women do not have self-ownership over their bodies. It is evil to suggest that a woman is giving ownership of her body to a man because she would flirt, follow, or kiss. And it is so evil for you to sit here telling me that I'm the one diminishing what it means to be raped. I'm the one that can't speak on this at all because I'm not a woman. Meanwhile, you're the one claiming that women forego bodily autonomy the moment they flirt with a man. You are sick. Truly vile. Consent can be taken back at any fucking time. Consent for a kiss is not a consent for penetration. And you still haven't answered my question. You continue to tell me that I'm diminishing the experiences of rape victims by saying you're a rape victim if your vagina is forcibly penetrated by a man's fingers. What would be the difference between the hypothetical you gave of being taken behind a club and being forcefully penetrated by a penis unconsensually, and being taken behind a club and being forcefully penetrated by a finger unconsensually? What is the difference?
It's different to me.
What's the difference?
One is his genitals and one is his hands.
But
now,
what
did she
difference
ask
does
him
that
to
make?
stop and he said, no, I'm going to keep doing this?
Stop. We're assuming all of the same variables to be true in both scenarios. In both scenarios, it's like hypothetical. You are such a rape apologist that when I'm just even giving you a hypothetical to try to better understand what you think the difference is between unconsensual penetration of fingers compared to penis, you are like inserting into that hypothetical that it's somehow the woman's fault. Like, you are such a rape apologist. Like, dude, we're not even talking about any one specific person. We're not even talking about a real thing that actually happened. We're talking about a hypothetical scenario. And dude, it's so crazy. You keep on wanting to insert in this hypothetical that somehow the woman's to blame for being raped or sexually assaulted. Like, what are you doing? You're sick. Your mind is just like mush. Now,
let me know when I
you
can
told
respond.
me that there's a difference between being forcefully penetrated by a penis compared to fingers unconsensually. Can you please quantify what that difference is? Explain what that difference is, because I want to better understand why you're accusing me of diminishing the lived experiences of real rape victims.
Okay. So I'm going to respond to everything you just said.
I just want you to respond to the whole quantifying
I
the
understand
difference
what you
in the
want.
experience, so I could better understand why you think I'm diminishing the lived experiences of rape victims. That's the one thing that you have not ever yet responded to, because you load me up with a bunch of bullshit that I then have to debunk. I want you to respond to that one specific question.
I know you do, because you want to control the dialogue Socratically. I understand that.
I
However,
refuse a
you've
notion that I'm
called me
controlling the
names.
dialogue, because the way in which I define the word control does not lead to the conclusion that me taking power of this conversation would be control. You are honestly diminishing the lived experiences of people that truly have experienced controlled dialogue, of basically accusing me of controlling this dialogue. And if you were to ask me to give you a definition of the word control, or to enumerate the reasons in which I do not believe I'm controlling this dialogue, I'm going to refuse to answer and probably call you names.
Okay. Well, I am not giving you consent
That's exactly what you're doing with the
to
word
call
rape,
me
by the way.
names. However, I have
That,
not.
like,
There's
everything
no
in which I
victim
just
shaming.
said is
Oh my God.
dude, everything that
Let
I
me know
just
when I can
said
talk.
is exactly what you're doing with the word rape. But go ahead.
In a reasonable encounter between a man and a woman, you have stated that he must ask permission for every move he makes, or he is a rapist.
Oh my God. Dude, listen, if you do something unconsensual to somebody, if by forcefully penetrating their vagina, then you are a rapist. And yes, you have to get consent. Now, getting consent can look like different things, but for the most part, what getting consent looks like does mean asking, unless you're confident otherwise. And in the scenarios where it's not explicit verbal consent, it's going to be a combination of like 3 billion different factors, like a read on one's body language, the actions and the movements in which they are making directed towards you, and the prior experiences that you've had with this person, such as, have you been in a relationship for a long time? Have you previously set these boundaries and then which you could observe they're abiding by via the actions that they're engaging in with you? But it gets really complicated. So that's why we just say, for simplicity, ask for consent, because at the end of the day, that rule of thumb will ensure people don't get raped, and I don't want people to get raped. The goal is just to ensure that enthusiastic consent is present. Enthusiastic consent is what you need. And if there's not enthusiastic consent and you forcefully penetrate somebody's body, you are a rapist.
Enthusiastic consent is too relative based on who's defining it.
The reason why we use the word enthusiastic is to account for coercion. You could be coerced into giving consent, quote unquote, when in all reality it's still yet unconsensual. Do you acknowledge that?
I acknowledge that enthusiastic is defined by each individual.
You're not answering my question. Do you acknowledge that if you are coerced into giving consent, then you are being raped?
I don't even understand what you're asking me. If a man says, you must let me have sex with you, and I say, sure, how is he going to coerce me into agreeing to it?
Like, I'll give you an example, okay? A man invites a woman over. The woman is kind of interested in the man, but, definitely not down to have sex with that man. And the man actually gave that woman a ride to his house, okay? So inevitably, that man's going to need to take that woman home. Now, the woman gets to the man's house, they get in his car, they go to dinner, he pays the bill. $100, brings her back home to watch a movie. Now, they're at this movie, he says, do you want a drink? She says, not really. He goes and he gets a bottle of tequila, pours a shot, says, you should take this shot. She says, no, I don't want to drink that. He says, oh, come on, take the shot. So then inevitably she takes it, takes 2 more shots. Now she's like 3 or 4 shots deep. And now, about halfway through the movie, the man starts trying to touch the woman. In response, the woman just kind of like slightly moves her body away. Doesn't like make it weird, make a scene or anything. So just kind of slightly moves her body away. Okay, so that fails. So then that man just straight up asks her if she would like to have sex. And at the start, she says no. Maybe she says, I'm tired. I don't know, whatever. But then he asks again, same response, asks again. Woman's very uncomfortable now. And at this point is starting to get concerned for her safety. You know, what could this man do if I say no again? On top of definitely not getting a ride home and I'm drunk so I can't drive my car. He could hurt me. So then she gives a very unenthusiastic yes. In that scenario, was the woman raped?
I think she needs to say no. She agreed to it. Now you're saying anytime a woman says consent to it and he has sex with her again. Like, it's so ridiculous. I know you want to give women all of these gray areas and all of this, leeway. Women need to stand up for women and themselves.
I gave her a scenario of a woman, A, being drunk when the man is sober, B, being coerced via repeated asks for consent, and C, being coerced via the exertion of power due to the fact that she needed a ride home. And she didn't know this guy if she kept on saying no to the guy that she could be physically hurt. And in consideration of these four things, that last guy still said that it wasn't rape. This is an issue. This is just an issue, man. And the one thing that's keeping me from crashing out a little bit is knowing that right now there's 25,000 people watching. That means 25,000 people that definitely now know, even if they did before, but definitely now know that that's rape. Have a little bit of a better understanding if you didn't prior about how rape isn't always putting a gun to somebody's head, a knife to their throat, and pinning them down with chains. Why don't more people know this? I vividly remember in my high school, there was a bookshelf that had a lot of information about sexual violence in it. And one of the things, says if they're drunk, you're sober, it's rape. You pressure them into it, you coerce them into it, it's rape. And now I see why that was so heavily publicized. Because people don't know. But I might take that back. There's no way people don't know that. Because even with very limited empathy, everybody should be able to place themselves in the scenario of the hypothetical woman that I described. And you'd be able to understand how from that perspective, you are not consenting to sex. And that man is driving to force you to consent to sex through various forms of coercion, such as alcohol and drugs, abuse of power dynamics, repetition and continuing to ask, and furthering asks with physical touch. Oh, sick. Oh, this is a person I said I really wanted to ask a singular question to at the beginning of the live. I'm going to go thank a couple people real quick. Eloquent, I appreciate you for the $5 who says callers to value in all survivors of sexual violence. Fingers or penis, the trauma is intense. And so it's the innate humiliation.
That was a pretty intense conversation. I got the end of it. That was but if I could speak on that, I don't think that you or her solved anything at all. Zero. You solved nothing. You kind of just tried to make her look bad. She tried to say that there's more to the situation than meets the eye. I could tell you some things that I think society has pushed aside that allow for a culture of exploitation of individuals and all kinds of stuff, and how we can push back on that. But I think that you would say a woman has the right to do whatever she wants to do with her own body, whether it be only friends or whatever it might be. In a society where people make money off of this stuff, young men desire it, they desire corn and all this stuff. And I don't think that you have really ever helped this situation at all. You just kind of try to go, here's what the situations are, and I'm backing women 100% in this because men are in the wrong all the time. But you're not looking at it as a whole and going, how do we stop this? How do we solve this situation? How do we understand this from both sides?
You don't think that advocating for more people to be better informed about the different ways that rape can occur is helping to solve the issue of sexual violence in America?
I'm sorry, I had a call come in. Say that again.
You don't think that helping people to better understand the different ways, the more complex ways that rape can occur outside of obvious physical force, such as the usage of coercion, power dynamics, and drugs, you don't think that that helps to try to solve the issue of sexual violence that we have here in America?
I think that it's a Band-Aid on an open wound that needs stitches.
Is it a necessary Band-Aid?
No, because you haven't done the internal stitching yet.
Dang. Yeah.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain before you make assumptions.
You're telling me that Liam, I was gonna have you up here to.
Dude,
give
you
me your
don't
thoughts
even
on
know where
Jesus Dawn. Nope. Absolutely not. Nope. Nope. Fuck that, dude. Holy shit. Why? Why would anybody say that, think that, feel that way? That it's not a necessary thing to educate people and advocate for more awareness of the various different ways in which rape can occur. Why would anybody pick up the protest sign and hop on the picket line of the "Stop educating about the different ways rape can occur"? Like, what the fuck are you mad at? People being more aware of the complexities of consent? There's legit only one reason that I could identify that anybody would be mad at spreading awareness about the complexities of consent. It's because if people were more aware about the complexities of consent, then they wouldn't get what they want. And I really hope Liam was just saying that because he doesn't like me and I'm not a Trump supporter and he just wants to be an argumentative tool and disagree with everything I say. Compared to genuinely arguing that because he knows if I advocated for that awareness and more people were aware of it, that he wouldn't get what he wants. Like, I just can't think of any other reason why somebody would ever say such a thing. Siri, I appreciate you for the $20 on Super Chat. Thank you, Siri. Show some up to Siri. Siri says, Corn is not responsible for sexual violence. Terrible men have been doing sexual violence to women since long before modern adult media existed. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Nayla, thank you so much for the $10, who says, Dean, you're the best. As a survivor myself, you bring me justice every day. I genuinely cannot thank you enough. I know that these conversations are difficult, but you are strong, brilliant, and trauma survivors have a hard time articulating, and you help us. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry to hear that you went through that, Nayla, but thank you for the kind words. Fallon, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. Megan, thank you for the $5. And then Lacey, thank you for the $10, who says, rape by coercion isn't always convincing somebody to do something. Sometimes it's yelling and screaming and berating somebody until they finally give in and just get it for the abuse to stop. From experience, it's a real thing. Undoubtedly, 100%. Cammy, thank you for the $24, who says, no is a complete sentence, period. Cammy, thank you for the $24. Megan, thank you for the $14 on PayPal. Because of the sensitive nature of your message, I'm going to keep that to myself. I'm sorry that you had to hear that conversation. And Lexington. In fact, Lexington and Angela. Thank you so much, Lexington and Angela. Thank you to the two of you both for the $50 donations on PayPal. I want to see 500 Lexington W's and 500 Angela W's. Lexington with a 50 says, no need to read this out loud if you don't want to. Okay, I will keep that on myself, but thank you for the love, Lexington. You are so kind. And then Angela with a $50 says, your strength and willingness to share information, data, and perspectives with others makes a significant difference every day. Education is the key to create change. Those who reject the facts may repeat the info with and around others, unbeknownst to them educating and helping to create change. And that's what I keep on telling myself, Angela. Sometimes it's hard, so just got to know that what we're doing here changes. Something beneficial. Clayton, thank you for the $20, who says, hey, Dean, the rape culture propagators are insufferable today. Buy yourself a nice treat with this. Thank you, bro. You know what? I'm going to end my stream, and I'm going to go get me and my girlfriend some ice cream. That sounds like a great way to end the day. Thank you for the $20 for the ice cream. Ellen, thank you for the $10 on PayPal. Jay, thank you for the $5. Christina with the 50 cents. And then we're all caught up on PayPal for now. On Super Chat, thank you, Derek, for the 20, who says, MAGA will say, don't force me to use pronouns, but will force themselves onto women and will force their religion onto others that don't want it. But no only means no when it's about their feelings, apparently. Thank you for the 20. Same thing to you. Sam with a Canadian 20, who says, hey, Liam, stop supporting a fake Christian heretic felon. Dude, Sam, that's the reason why I brought him up, because I wanted his thoughts on, Trump Christ. Jesus Trump. Donald Christ. But I just kicked him. I'm not doing that. Nerd, thank you for the $20, who says, I have a kid and she wishes that everyone would be peaceful and kind. I wish it would be that way, but sadly it isn't. Dean, please keep on educating people day in and day out. You know it. Thank you so much for the support. Same thing to you, Jessica, with a $20, who says, people like the last two guests are the reason why 30-year-old men checked me out and asked for my phone number when I was 12. So fucking gross. And it sucks that I could recall so many women that I know in my life that have that same story to tell. It's fucking disgusting. Zoya, thank you for the $5, who says, I really hope you end up in the Oval Office one day. I don't know about that, but thank you. Rebecca, thank you for the $15, who asked for the brand of my earbuds. Sure. Same brand that makes this mic. Michaela with $5. And then Patsy, thank you so much for the $30 donation on Venmo. Patsy, it's good to see you today. Thank you so much for the love. Please show some love to Patsy down below in the comment section for the 30. Sarah, thank you for the 5. And Lovey, thank you for the 1 penny. I see that, Lovey. Thank you. Lydia, thank you for the $5. Please read. In my high school, we were given a story exactly like the one that you gave in a worksheet asking how the woman could have avoided it. I spoke up and asked why they were blaming her, and I got the same answers as the last guess. As a 3XSA survivor, thank you, Dean. That's legit fucking crazy, Lydia. That's like so insane. Ben, thank you for the $5 as well. Then Kinsley, thank you for the $20, who says, thank you for speaking on rape and consent. As a victim, hearing another woman who's been conditioned to victim blame and turn on herself and other women is angering and heartbreaking. I completely understand why you'd feel that way. It was pretty shitty. Diana, thank you for the $30 on Venmo, who says, as somebody who's in an abusive relationship and suffered through sexual coercion for years, thank you for everything in my soul, for how you advocate for not only all of us, but for all the people in need of validation during a triggering time. Love you, Dean. Love you too, Diana. Thank you for the $30. Thank you so much. Logan and Katie, thank you guys for the 5. Ashton and Sean, thank you for the 5. Matt, thank you for the 5. Kinsey with the 25. Thank you, Kinsey, who says, thank you for standing up for victims with your platform. Thousands of people being exposed to that toxic ideology. She is disgusting for that. It's legit fucking vile. Then Brianna, thank you for the $10, who says, Dean, you look tired. I do feel pretty tired after the debates today. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty ready to hop off. And then Abby with the $10. Thank you, Abby. Amy with the $10. She says, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Amy. Tess with the 15. I appreciate you. And Tess, I'd bet a pretty penny that you were right about that evaluation. Timothy calls that last guest disgusting with a $5. Thank you. Kirsten with the 5 says, fuck that last guest. So real. Bridget with the 5. Thank you, Bridget. Sarah with the 10 who says, oh, no worries, Sarah. Thank you so much for the love. And then Stephanie with the $10 as well. Shout out to Stephanie's dad, Raul Robles. Shout out to you, Raul. Thank you. Then Timothy, thank you for the $15. I appreciate you, Timothy. And Joseph, thank you for the 10 who says, I saw you in Dr. Blitz today. That was fun to debate some flat earthers. All right, folks. I appreciate you guys so much for pulling through to the stream today. We are going to go ahead and end the stream. I am frankly too tired to continue. I'm going to be honest. Now, if you want to come back tomorrow or the day after that or the day after that or the day after that times a billion, because I do this every day, make sure to hit that follow button on TikTok on your way out. Drop a sub on YouTube and a like on the VOD. It is completely free. And as always, I'm just so grateful for you guys for showing up. You know, that's it. That's the thing that keeps me going, is I'm not just in a padded room talking to the badness. There's something valuable here, and that's the takeaway from all the people that tune in and tune out. And I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so very grateful. But I'll see you tomorrow. Peace, love, good night, and goodbye.